Hello, hello. On today's show, we're going to talk about the Mandalorian season finale. Mike says we're going to get our viewers back because of Cover Combat 4 being back. And we celebrate Star Wars plus a little bit of Indiana Jones. Welcome and good morning. We are your favorite live streaming, whatnotting podcast, comics and collectibles in the crawl space. I am your fourth or fifth favorite podcasting host, Kevin, and we've got a full staff today. You want to say, hey, Mike?
Hey, good morning, everyone.
And of course, as I pointed out in our pregame, Mike was assessing our low viewership numbers to Cover Combat 4 last week. But my assessment is it has more to do with the lack of collectibles on the show. Give a big round of applause for Patrick.
Wait, 9 o'clock? You were serious? Glad to be back.
Yeah. Welcome back. That's for sure. Yeah. 9 a.m. Right. Well, and then that's the other part too, is we didn't even discuss. We just talked about having a show at 9 a.m., which means the pregame starts at 8 a.m., which means, of course, you got to get up at like 7:30 or a little bit earlier, maybe, So, yeah, when I started doing the math on everything at 4 o'clock when I went to bed last night, I was like, oh, my God, what am I doing? Oh, crap. I touched my mic. Is my mic still good? Anyway, and we have Karen with us as well. So we've got a full regular staff today. So it should be all right. You got to take that loop off, Karen.
Yeah, that worked.
It would have worked perfectly had the loop, but it seems like maybe that loop comes on automatically. You got to remember to take it off every time. Anyway, moving on, trudging forward. Yes, I was up. I'm surprised no comment on my 4 o'clock. I was up at like 4 o'clock. I'm on a new Tetris kick.
Does that mean you watched the movie?
No, and it's simply because I wanted to watch it, but Lexi's been like gone more than she's been home lately, and she's my Apple connection. I guess I could just text her, but since she wasn't home, I thought, I need to watch that. And I was like, Lexi's not home, and then I gave up on it. But I'm still old with not used to that technology having in your pocket. You can just reach out to someone and get all the information you want immediately. I'm still thinking, Lexi's not home, I'm lost.
Yep.
All right, anyway, let's get rolling. So the first thing I wanted to comment on, and shortly, is I should have said briefly. I just wanted to comment on this. We still have not gotten any response from our runner-up or our second chance. I think I'm calling it second chance winner of the Scruffle Skull Sweepstakes, which is David the Movie Nerd. To be more specific, David _the _movie _nerd. That is an Instagram username. If that is your name, please reach out to us any way you choose. We've got some great stuff for you. One more week for that before we have to spin the wheel again, Mike.
Jeez.
Okay.
Who knew it would be so hard to give stuff away?
I sure didn't. Yeah.
Neither did I.
All right. Then If Mike is accurate, this is going to bump our numbers up immediately. It looks like we got 4 million now. We're going to go to 7, 8 million maybe right away, right, Mike? You ready?
Yeah, well, I agree. Patrick brings a lot to the show. I was just using that as my my tease. I
know. I was just, looking for a reason to say more words.
Wait, you have to look for reasons.
Yes, nice.
All right.
No, I don't have to look for more reasons. I just typically do, even though I don't need to. I just do anyway. But anyway. All right, Mike, take it away.
So Cover Combat 4, what we're doing here, everybody sent 5 artists, cover artists, to me, and they are all on a wheel. There are 30 of them. I've already spun the draft order, and basically I have all 6 of our names right here, and Patrick's going to spin the wheel with the 30 names on it, and the first name to come up goes to the first name on my list, and we'll go down to all 6, and that's how we'll reveal. So everyone's going to see what artists are available, but nobody's going to see who's paired up with what. I'll send that private message to everybody later on with who their artist is.
You'll tell us now. We just won't be able to see it right now, is all you're saying, right?
I wasn't going to tell who, like if you get, I mean, like Peach Momoko is not on the list anymore. Tyler removed her. Let's say we spin the wheel and Peach comes up for you. I wasn't going to tell anybody but you, unless you guys want me to just to reveal it and we all know who has what artists.
That was the impression I was under. How about you, Patrick? What impression were you under?
I thought we were just revealing the artists that were chosen, keeping the participant the secret. But
okay,
I mean,
okay, yeah. Hey, I'm apparently the outlier here, so that's good for me. Fine, okay. I just didn't understand. I was totally under the impression you were revealing the artist and the member that was attached to. But I guess going in line with the previous cover combats, it would be a secret. So sorry.
The only thing we didn't talk about, we did talk about but didn't finalize, at least not me, was the possible of a veto, one veto.
I thought I got crushed pretty hard on that when I brought it up right away, so I didn't bring it up again. Is that what you assumed too, Mike? No veto. You got.
Yeah, I think Johnny had a good point. That's kind of the fun of it is it puts you out of your comfort zone a little bit and maybe makes you look at an artist that
you hate. Right, got it.
Not hate.
or dislike or don't exactly have a lot of fun for. How about that?
And the list is funny and we can talk a little bit about it. There were, I think as they were coming in, there were comments made like Art Adams wasn't on there. Jack Kirby was one of the later additions, and for me, I was Bill Sienkiewicz made the list. I didn't put him on there because I figured his stuff is just so different that it would be hard for him to get a foothold for people that aren't really big fans of his style.
Yeah, that's
that's why that's the way my list was generated.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Any thoughts on how you guys submitted?
So I felt the same way. Yeah, Kirby's a good example. I didn't pick Kirby because I figured there's no way Kirby's winning. And I actually want to win, but obviously I love his art. I would arguably say I like Kirby's art the most out of the entire group. Everybody can appreciate Kirby and appreciate his art, but as far as still liking that art a lot, I still like it a lot. And I think I'm probably, the most outspoken one on that, I think. And then of course, Patrick was mentioning Mignola, not wanting Mignola anymore because he can't seem to win. Right, Pat? What else did you have to say about it?
Yeah, I sort of wanted to go through the different eras a little bit, but then my other criteria was these guys, somebody else is going to pick this person, so I'm not going to put them on my list. But that didn't happen in a lot of cases. So.
Yeah, it's like you were mentioning too, Mike, and I had the same thought as well, that especially if someone too seemed to be prominent a lot in the first two or first three cover combats, we didn't want to then have them again possibly kind of take the spotlight again, which is why I left out Alex Ross, you know. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff like that.
Yep.
I think that's what's great about, I mean, cover combat's great on so many levels, and that being the first level is how we all choose our submissions for all the different logistical reasons or logic that we choose to put on ourselves for what we're going to choose. It's interesting how we all approach it, you know, so that's good too. Yeah. All right, we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hold on a second. Aren't you going to reveal the logo first?
Oh yeah, I am. And Patrick knocked it out of the park, man. This was I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah,
this is great. And he has a little more work to do. You'll see.
Yep.
Oh my God.
There we go. Man.
Oh man. Oh, let me see something real quick. I got a new tool. I think this might be it. No, that's not it. Hold on a second. There's a new tool. I can't figure it out right now. I figured out, Patrick, you didn't see this last week. I figured out how to put us at the bottom instead of off to the side.
Okay.
But then he forgot.
Oh, I just remembered. Give me 1 second. It's come inbound here.
Yeah.
Right. I did forget, but now I just remembered. See how this looks. There we go.
Oh yeah, there we go. That is good.
Yeah.
So
as soon as I knew about, as soon as I realized this is going to be cover combat for the Fantastic Four, immediately, you know, since I'm such a big fan, popped into my head. So I figured I'd do something with the logo, and I went with classic Fantastic Four. And obviously, if you didn't figure it out, the 4 or the 6 question marks will be replaced with the artists that we select today. So.
That is awesome, man. That is so good. That's, man, I totally, whenever you talked to us about what the logo was going to look like in our group, and you had that generic logo that was apparently you said just a place filler. Right. I was totally expecting something at least resembling that.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are awesome.
Yeah. I wanted to put something in there as a placeholder, but I also didn't want to give away what this was. But you know, it was the only thing I can come up with a 4 that was very comic book related and recognizable. So I'm glad that it was. I thought it was funny interaction the way you thought that was it. Isn't it gonna be something else on there?
Yeah. I was totally
Don't want to hurt Pat's feelings, but boy, not living up to the hype.
Yeah, he's phoning this one in. Oh yeah.
Problem is, I got to start thinking about 5 now. That's
right. Yeah. You got a couple months to get it worked out. But that's awesome. Okay, awesome, good stuff.
And I have to say, this font is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Let me take that down. And we'll get this thing rolling.
We want us back to the side now, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
On some of the submissions, some of the behind the scenes stuff, you guys saw a little bit of it. Tyler had submitted Peach Momoko on his list. And I sent him a message. I'm like, great list. I think Peach is a bit risky, just because she kind of falls into the same category, I think, that Bill Sienkiewicz does. Is she's got a very distinct style that is it's not common. And with hers, it's really, for me anyway, it's really, really good or not good. And but he had a good reason for having her on there. And I said, okay, that makes sense to me. And then later on, he asked to remove hers. I think he put a little more thought into it, and he changed it out. So that was the only thing that changed on it. Everybody submitted their 5, and they all stuck.
Okay.
And I was looking at some of the, that are coming in going, oh man, why didn't I put that one up? But it doesn't matter because I still have a chance of getting any.
Yeah, this was just for the submission. It doesn't mean who you get, right? Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought Peach would do pretty well, though. Obviously, it would be on whoever got her to pick the right covers, but I think she's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have a. What do you think our group? Most people that are voting, it seems to be about a 50-50 male-female ratio, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, for every one of us, we've got our wives.
Yeah.
And then Kevin, you've got daughters. I've got a daughter. So it's And then
I'm talking about with the cover combat votes, even with just the audience, it still seems to be
Right.
about a 50-50 cut of voters, right?
Yeah.
So I think Peach would have done pretty good, but yeah, who knows?
Selecting her body of work is much smaller than some of the other ones.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm
all right.
in my mouth.
Ready to release the wheel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
so that
guess.
was-
I don't know how this is gonna work out. We've got a new wheel to reveal to y'all as well, right, Mike?
Yeah. Yeah. And it should work.
It makes complete sense.
Oh, he spun it already. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, that was Karen.
It makes complete sense. We keep adding these different things because
Oh,
everything else, everything else has been ironed out to perfection already. That we keep throwing in new stuff. It makes complete sense.
Oh, Patrick, can you? You might not be able to. Can you hit the speaker under the copy of this wheel? I don't know if you have that option. It looks like the sound is off. Oh wait, no, never mind. It's on. Sorry.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah, that looks like the only thing I can do.
All right.
Is turn
Yeah,
off
we
the
want the
sound.
sound on.
Okay.
The sound is fun.
Okay.
Okay.
If it works.
Ready? Are you recording the names, Mike?
Yes.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm delayed.
All right. It's McFarlane. Nice. We couldn't see the awesome effects. I couldn't. Could anybody else see the awesome effects on that, or did it just kind of spin for a minute and then put up that Todd McFarlane? Did anyone see the whole thing?
No, my internet's still lagging.
Karen, could you see it? Yeah, Karen could see it. Pat,
Okay.
did you see it?
I'm only seeing the spinning the wheel, so of course I saw it, but
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I didn't see it. Anyway, we'll see how it works out.
okay.
But the
ready?
first choice is Todd
Hit
McFarlane.
remove.
Right?
Oh, you can't. I don't know if you can hit remove. Or not.
Yes, I can. I can hit remove. It's on the window.
Okay.
So there he goes. Number 2. Nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I like these picks.
Yeah, me
so
too.
far,
I'm
so
hoping.
good.
Yeah, I'm hoping the opposite of what you said, speculating, or what we talked about speculating the way this would work out happens, since Todd's on this list, of course.
All right.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Nice.
Jeez. Big hitters.
Yes. Indeed.
I think everyone on here is big hitters, though, right?
They are. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4.
Nice. This is all totally
Yeah.
random. Like just talking about it.
So funny.
Yeah.
What's great is every single one of these artists, I have covers in my head for all of them. Just right off the bat, it's like, okay, yeah. I'll use that one.
It's kind of funny, yeah.
Oh,
Yep. All right.
Another dynamic I didn't even think of. If I don't get, hypothetically, Todd McFarlane, I'm going to have to keep voting Todd out every time. You know what I mean? That's going to suck. I didn't even think about that aspect.
Yeah. Oh, and well, I'll talk about. We have 2 more to go, and then I have something to throw out there too.
Number 5.
Oh, mine wasn't.
Nice. Hey, Patrick, since you can see the wheel vividly, did that almost land on Barry Windsor Smith? Is that who that was?
I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I think it just made it into John Buscema. So whoever was before him, I can't see who that was now, but yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the one after him.
It may have been.
Yeah.
Close call, Kevin.
I'm rooting. No, I'm rooting for him.
Because so you can vote against them.
Yeah, for the exact reason. The opposite reason I just stated about Todd. Yeah, right.
All right. Last pick on the wheel.
Man, there's so many. Oh, nice.
All right. Now, what's funny, nobody had put the first few submissions, Rob Liefeld wasn't on there. And I think Patrick had brought that up, and then I said, I have an idea. My idea was going to be, because I assumed nobody was going to submit Rob Liefeld. My idea was going to be, after we have the 6, everybody's going to submit 7 covers for their artist, and then everybody's going to submit 1 Rob Liefeld cover. I thought so. That's what I was going to do. But then Rob Liefeld was submitted, so that wiped that off the board. But I do have an idea, and you guys can say yes or no to it. We spin it one more time, and we do just that. Whoever comes up is that wild card artist. So everybody submits 7 covers for their assigned artist, and then all 6 of us submit a cover from that last artist.
I'm all for stuff like that. I'm in. As long as Patrick's good with it, I'm good.
Yeah. I have to get the wheel back up.
Yeah. Let me get the wheel working again. And I'm not saying let's go Barry Windsor Smith, but let's go. And for everybody out there, that's an inside joke amongst us with some X-Men books and Kevin's dislike for one of the covers. But he does like, you do like Barry Windsor Smith's art.
Yeah, I don't think he's bad. It's just one cover.
Right. It's a John Romita Jr., Barry Windsor Smith battle.
Well, maybe the wheel will make one complete rotation. Here we go.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. So Clayton Crane. Dang it. I'm disappointed. I was hoping something.
Thank you, Karen. We've got one. So we've only got 1 week, right?
Well, yeah. How do we want to do it? Does everyone have their submissions?
More stuff we should have discussed in the pregame. It's so funny.
Yeah, because usually I need a little bit of time. People need time to find it,
right,
and then send it to me, and I need to get everything organized.
Yeah, to be fair, this should be easier because you're only concentrating on one artist. So
yeah,
get your picks in, everyone.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Mike, it's ultimately
for-
up to you though. If you think you can do it, can you comfortably do it?
yeah, let's plan for next week.
Okay. All
I think I have a vacation coming to work. I'll just take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've all got 1 week to submit 6 covers of whichever artist we get, plus 1 Clayton Crane cover, correct?
I think it's 7 covers plus 1 Creighton. I'll send it out to everybody.
Okay, 7 covers and 1 Clayton Crane. So a total of 8 covers then. Got it. Okay. Man, love it. Love it. I
Yeah,
cannot wait to see.
I'm itching to find out who I got now.
Yeah, me too. Mike, can you send them to us right now, please?
Yeah.
Hey, let's get live reaction of who we got. Go ahead and text me, Mike.
Okay.
This makes for great podcast material.
Yeah. Riveting.
Especially with the 3 million people that are up this morning with us unexpectedly. They're all like, man, this is riveting.
All right, Kevin, yours.
Oh, man. Dang gone. I mean, that's fine, but out of that entire group, that was the one that I didn't want the most.
All right, Patrick, yours is inbound.
Interesting. Okay. I'm fine.
And it's so great. I mean, obviously Kevin's like, I think once Kevin gets rolling, he's gonna be like, oh yeah, this is good. But yeah, right
that's what it is. It's about my familiarity with the artist. That's the thing. Yeah.
And I'm looking at mine going, okay, out of all of them, I would have preferred other one, many others, but it's
interesting.
Good.
Okay. Yeah. It'll be exciting to see this next week. Yeah. All right.
I'll have to look and see if anybody got somebody that they submitted. I think someone on this list actually spun an artist that was on their 5.
Oh yeah, only one?
I think so.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I guess that is a lot of odds that would have to be in a favor. You submitted yours, then it has to be spun to even be used, and then you have to be spun to be the one to get it. Yeah, so that's kind of slim. Yeah, that's good.
So.
Anyway, that's awesome. Great stuff.
Right.
I'll be excited to wake up next week at 7:30 on Sunday, just so we can see them. Incidentally, that's the to let everybody know we're planning on this time next Sunday as well. So 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll cover that more at the end of the show. All right, we ready to move into the regular segments then?
Let's go.
All right, Here we go. All right, I was pretty much a big failure this week. I actually did watch one new show, but it was so horrible I forgot the name of it, and I have no images to show about it. That's all I had to say about it. But I'll just bring this up again because I did watch a bunch more episodes. I got a couple 3 episodes into season 2 of Future Man, and I guess I could just reinforce what I said about it last week, that it's still hilarious, although I will add that it's got a couple more it keeps upping up its game of gratuitous vulgarities as you go along with this. So more of that, not for kids. And then Mike and Patrick, both you guys said you checked this out a little bit. Did you want to add anything that maybe I didn't say about it?
I'll say
of it.
I'll just reiterate what you said. Yeah, this isn't for kids.
But are you enjoying it though?
Yeah, holy cow. It was and I was trying to I kind of see what you were saying, where you started watching it and then you're like, I'm just done with this. I can kind of see that, but it maybe it held my interest more because I knew on the other side of that was some exciting stuff.
What was coming? Okay.
Yeah. So I thought it was great. The only reason
Out the
I
gate.
stopped watching it is I think the kids came in the house. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
And Pat?
it's funny.
Yeah, I watched the first episode the whole way through, and it was enough to get me hooked to watch future episode. No pun intended. Future episodes. So
Nice.
yeah, so interesting actors in it. Right off the bat, let I guess apparently guest stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll watch more.
All right, cool. All right, again, then let's get into the Mandalorian. That's like I said, I'm big fail. I don't have anything else for you. First question for the Mandalorian season finale, Mike. Did you catch up?
No, I did not.
Did you watch the first 15 minutes of this episode?
No, I should have. I was going to do that this morning around 9 o'clock, but I had other things came up.
Patrick, you're up to date, right?
Yeah.
Thank God. Because apparently I had a train wreck. Well, I wasn't that bad. I'm not going to beat myself up that bad. I obviously talked about a lot of relevant stuff, but there was a lot more relevant stuff that I didn't mention that Pat corrected me in our group from the last episode. So let's see if I can just remember what those were now. So I didn't mention that the Darksaber officially changed hands in the last episode. Mandalorian used the logic or reasoning, whatever, that Bo-Katan saved him from the droid alien creature in the sewers of Mandalore. So that essentially earned her the Darksaber. Is that accurate, Pat?
Yeah, she picked up the saber and used it to defeat his captor. So,
right. Oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
It should go to her, which is it's fine. I'm fine with that. He never wanted it to begin with.
Right. Exactly. I was totally fine with that too, as well. Yeah.
Means nothing to him. He was never proficient with it. He's a blaster guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then another, aside from that, which was kind of a passing moment. They didn't really talk about that too much, but it happened and I forgot. But a huge thing that happened that was kind of big that I completely blanked on was, of course, Yoda getting a new transport in the way of IG-11's belly.
Right.
So
that would be Grogu, not Yoda, though.
Oh yeah. See, thank God you're here, because afterwards I've been like, daggum, I said Yoda. Hey, no, that was a foreshadowing of my review today. That's why that happened. I'm not even lying. So anyway, so yeah, Grogu is riding around in the robot. What do you think of that, Pat?
I loved it. I thought it was so funny. It's an obvious, especially considering how the next two episodes played out. A toy grab, that's the way I feel.
Okay.
But
yeah, I'm still actually a little torn with it. And essentially it comes down to, I've said this so many times, I'll say it again. I take my Mando stuff seriously. So it's really kind of corny, but I do enjoy it. So that's why I'm torn, So,
but also I like how he was Din was irritated by it,
Yeah.
Like, enough of this. This isn't working for me.
And then how he said too reminded me, which again we'll talk about it in the finale, but the previous episode when he's in riding an IG, he can only press a button that says yes, or he only presses a button that says yes like a million times. So that's kind of funny too,
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you said, Mando was annoyed by it, but Grogu wanted to ride in it. So he kept, that was his affirmation that, yes, I want to be riding this, so that was pretty funny. Yeah. And then we talked, the last thing I had not only forgotten, but then misstated was about the episode being called Spies. and people speculating as to who the spies were. And Mike made mention of the armorer, and I went right into a Bo-Katan rant. So that really wasn't applicable. Although, you know, it was fine information that I was giving, but it had nothing to do with Mike's question. So Mike was talking about that as well. Did I forget anything else from the previous episode, Patrick?
I don't think so. I think that was it.
Okay, good. So now getting into the finale. I love the way this kind of didn't mess around right out the bat. Literally picked up with Bo-Katan and all the other Mandalorians running right out of the building that they had just escaped at the end of the previous episode. And then, you know, cutting to us seeing Mandalorian being dragged away by the Super Troopers. So, you know, it seemed like most of that episode was, I shouldn't say most, a good portion of the beginning of the episode was just us seeing how this entire battle played out, and Mando being saved by none other than Grogu, who followed Mando when he was captured and kind of being drug away. Grogu actually got to save him using his new robotic power abilities, whatever you would call it, mechanical abilities. And we get to see, this is another interesting thing I'll get right into right away. Who knew that a Mandalorian's jetpack had the power to kind of escape atmospheres? Who knew a jetpack could go from the ground all the way up to the Imperial cruiser that it's in outer space, right? I mean,
yeah, I thought the same thing, but I kind of, my logic was it's in, what do they call it, like low orbit or low, you know, you upper atmosphere maybe. I don't know.
Right.
It was a stretch though.
Yeah, and you know what my mind went to right away when that was happening was the dragon episode where they ran out of fuel chasing the dragon for as long as they did. It sure seemed like he was using a lot more fuel than he seemed to, you know, would be able to carry in such a small jetpack to get all the way up to the Imperial cruiser, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But so let me see if I can get this right. So what we have happening, and this is an exciting episode, I think, right out the gate, because like I said, it jumps right into where we ended in the other episode. So what we have going on is the one Mando, what's his name? The one that headed up to the Imperial, the commander of the Imperial cruiser, Mandos, or whatever you want to call him.
Axe Woves.
Yeah, he's heading up to the Imperial cruiser to kind of warn everybody, because that's the other thing that's going on is when they're in the ground. My wife's chiming in. The season finale was great. Best episode of the season, in my opinion. Okay, that's good. We'll chime in on those specifics in a minute. So what else is going on is they have a communication issue from the Imperial cruiser to them on the ground. They can't talk to each other. So that's why he needs the jetpack up to get out of the atmosphere so he can communicate. So then he's telling the other Mandos in the Imperial cruiser, hey, first of all, you need to get your butt down to the ground because Bo-Katan, all of us have been ambushed. So we need reinforcements down there, while also TIE fighters are headed up to the Imperial cruiser. So we need to prepare for that. So we need to essentially get all of the Mandalorian shuttles to head down while the TIE fighters are headed up. And he's going to use the Imperial cruiser, basically sacrifice it as a, distraction, kind of pretend that they're all in there so they don't expect reinforcements on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Am I tracking so far?
Yep.
All right. So then the plan pans out pretty much. Essentially what happens after Grogu saves Mando is then Mando kind of looks to Grogu and goes, hey, buddy, this isn't time to run, which I love this too, because that was the other part. I shouldn't say I didn't care for it because I didn't even mention it the last episode either, but it did seem off how the Mando's immediate reaction seemed to be in kind of defensive run mode, as opposed like immediately, I guess they could see they were outnumbered, so they knew they didn't have a chance, but there didn't seem to be much of a fight in the Mandos when we first saw the Super Troopers come into play in last episode,
Yeah, I kind of wrote that off as this was a big ambush. It was basically an Imperial base.
Yeah, I
They
guess.
don't know about, because of all the ships, all the commandos. So they knew they had a small force on planet, and they needed to get more reinforcements. Is how I kind of looked at that.
Yeah, that's fair. I really wasn't hung up on it too much, but that
Yeah.
did strike me. And I guess it struck me the most whenever I liked Mando's attitude when he, turned to Grogu and he's like, "Hey, buddy, this isn't time to run. We need to finish this. We need to get Gideon, or this is never going to end." So Mando and Grogu are off to find Moff Gideon. The reinforcements are headed down to help Bo-Katan and the rest of them fight all the other Super Troopers. TIE fighters are headed to the Imperial cruiser to have a little space battle going on. So I don't know if you can tell already. This was epic. And I'm talking to viewers when I say, if you can't tell already, if you haven't seen it. And I guess we're just going to can any spoiler alert. Yeah, this, we didn't talk about it at all. But Pat, do you agree with all? I mean, this is an epic episode before we go any further, right?
It was very high on action, lower on story because, a lot of things I thought might pan out, but the whole spies thing that never really happened. We found out that Axe and the armor were A-okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So it was basically wall-to-wall action episode.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. I was thinking for a minute whenever Axe was the one heading to the Imperial cruisers and he basically told everyone else to get off. I know he, excuse me, he was sending them for reinforcements, of course, but whenever he told everybody they had to go and it was just him and the Imperial cruiser, I was thinking for a minute there that's where it was going to turn to be
maybe,
but yeah, it never happened. So was that episode Spies plural though anyway? Yeah, it was Spies plural, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
So then Grogu and Mando catch up with Moff Gideon, and then of course the Praetorian Guard come out too, and Mando has to. Well, first of all, I guess before they get to them, man, the whole I don't know what you want to call it, the homage, whatever, to episode 1 with the force shields blocking off kind of levels. It seemed very video gamey to me. Obviously, it was a flashback to the way episode 1 was with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon when they're fighting Darth Maul with the whole laser shields. And again, R5-D4 being one of my favorite droids, R5 getting involved to be the one that Mando relied on to drop the laser shields in sequence when he told him to, and Mando's going through these laser shields and having, and of course they escalated the difficulty level of each Super Trooper he was fighting. Like he goes through the first one, and was it just one or was there actually 2 there in the first one? I think it was 1, wasn't it?
It seemed like there was 2 in each sector, I think.
Okay, but they were kind of like hand to hand first, and then the second one they had lasers, and then the third one they had lasers and shields. It kept leveling up. I thought that whole sequence was awesome. Mando was so epic. And I want to add this in right now too. I was so concerned with this episode that Bo-Katan was going to steal the show. I don't know whether they just came to their senses on their own or whether maybe they watched Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space complaints about Boba Fett's show being stolen by his co-star, and that same kind of thing happening here, but it did not happen. And I was so thankful. Mando was awesome. Not only, and I was still concerned up until the moment Grogu saved him. I'm like, man, it's like everybody has to save Mando now. I think it was like 3 times in a row we saw Mando being saved as opposed to being the Mando we love being such a bad butt. He finally turned it up. and he was wrecking Super Troopers. And I thought the choreography for this fighting was awesome too, right, Pat? Did you like it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So good. So then he gets through these guards, and there was a little scene with mouse droids that was pretty interesting. There was one mouse droid that kind of discovered that R5D4 was the one that was controlling the shields that Mando needed help with. And R5D4, interesting enough, R5D4 can apparently jet around now too, and he's got an electrical shocker. You know, the evolution of especially these astro droids is interesting over the years, which I love it. I got no problem with it. It's awesome. So R5D4 zaps one of these mouse droids. It runs off, similar to every other time you've ever seen a mouse droid in any movie. But then he comes back with like 8 mouse droid friends. So funny. But I thought he was going to do something crazy, like get a big, electronic arm out of the top of the mouse droid's head. But all it did was like all 8 of them were like just banging into R5D4's feet. It was so hilarious, right?
Yeah, and I thought the one thing that was kind of funny about that sequence was Din seems to have changed his opinion on droids, because he called R5 his little buddy 3 times.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I was totally thinking that as well. Yeah, I was liking it. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Well, because of my affection for R5D4 in particular, but
I think R5 comes across as one of those droids that needs a lot of encouragement. So maybe that's why he was calling him his little buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, R5 is definitely the polar opposite of R2. R2 is this brave, droid, always into it, and R5's like every time he's told to do anything,
Right.
But anyway, then so Grogu and Mando meet up with Moff Gideon and the Praetorian Guard, which why does this have to happen, Pat? Why does it have to happen where you come into a boss level, for lack of a better way to describe it, and the boss level immediately wants to send out his top guys first? Whenever obviously Moff Gideon is superiorly, awesome at this point with all his new gear and equipment and everything, the Praetorian Guard comes out, but that's kind of a typical thing. Why do you think that always is, Pat?
Yeah, I don't know. You're right, though. It is sort of a cliche.
Yeah. So anyway, so the Praetorian Guards come in, and of course, I immediately think, okay, how are they gonna make this play out with, of course, the Praetorian Guard just killing Paz in the previous episode, right?
Right.
And kind of convincingly too. He really didn't hold his own too well once they showed up in that episode. But again, Mando steps it up, and I thought it was done well enough to where he wasn't like just super, better than them. And they were getting his goat a good many times before he finally comes to the point of it being able to beat them with, of course, then I totally skipped that part too. The Praetorian Guard were after Grogu for a minute while Mando's fighting Moff Gideon, right?
Yeah, they kind of got split off at one point there. I can't remember how exactly that happened.
Yeah, so the Praetorian guards chasing Grogu around this room because they essentially destroy IG-11, right? Or cut his head off or something, so Grogu can't ride around him anymore, right?
Yeah, short-lived mechanism for.
Yeah, so then Grogu hops out, and he's like running around, in this kind of this ledge that's at the top of this room they're all in, and the Praetorian Guards are trying to swipe at him up, and he's doing this, force flips and everything, which I'll ask this as well, Pat. This is a question I had for Jesse during the show is, would you prefer in a situation like that, because it's got to happen at some point, that maybe they move it into a little bit of CGI, or did you like the still very puppety, kind of rigid movement that Grogu is while he's doing that action stuff? How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I guess I've just kind of become accustomed to it,
Yeah.
It doesn't, on the surface, it kind of would throw you out of the action, and you see that in your head, it's a puppet, but I've grown used to it, I guess, and it
So you
doesn't
don't
bug
mind
me.
at all.
It doesn't
Okay.
bug me
Gotcha.
too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much where I am too, because, and that's a good way to put it. I guess it was being used to it because that's all we've gotten. But I was thinking that would be a great time to, get some, Attack of the Clones Yoda type CGI surprise action from Grogu, because obviously that was I would say the most mobile we're seeing Grogu up to
Yeah.
date. He's flipping everywhere and jumping everywhere. It was really, but it was cute too, so that's what, it's fine. So then Mando comes in and to save Grogu, and then essentially them both connecting again. Grogu does most of the, well, I shouldn't say most. I mean, obviously it's Mando doing most of the heavy lifting, but Grogu's definitely plays a big part. And it's like right when Mando would essentially lose a fight, Grogu's there to grab the dude and like pull him, throw him against the wall, or they lose their weapon. They go to grab their weapon and Grogu flicks their weapon away. He's like doing all this, force activity during Mando's hand-to-hand fight with the Praetorian Guard. So that was pretty awesome. And then Mando's getting his butt kicked because Moff Gideon gets involved again. And man, Moff's obviously they didn't make a point to point this out, but we could definitely tell from the sound effects of the show, Moff Gideon's armor's definitely got some hydraulics going on, right? I mean, he's super strong with these hydraulics. And holy huge event. Like I said, we're past spoilers, right? I mean, no one cares, right?
At this point.
Man,
it sounds like we're getting closer to the end of the episode.
The Darksaber is thousands and thousands of years old, and they just want to crush it, and it's totally gone now, right, Pat?
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, I was like, "What the heck are you doing?" But Filoni, I don't know. It totally. Were you shocked whenever? So Moff Gideon. So anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. So Moff Gideon is crushing Mando. Mando's really not putting up that good of a fight against Gideon with his gear. And Jesse's like, man, he looks really cool in all that black. And I was like, yeah, you're like somebody else we know. I mean, he's got Darth Vader, especially Rogue One vibes going on. He's just like so powerful, and he's got his helmet on, of course, and he looks cool as can be. And yeah, Mando's not holding up at all. So then, of course, Bo-Katan comes in to the rescue as well, and she's using the Darksaber. But the Darksaber, I don't know what weapon Moff Gideon whips out, but it's kind of like, the double-edged Imperial Guard, but it's got red lasers. It's kind of like, I thought it was kind of like a mix of the Imperial Guard's weapons and what were those droids that General Grievous had?
The Magna Guards with the
Magna Guard staffs. It was like a combo of that stuff. It was awesome, and apparently the Darksaber's nothing to this thing either, because it is just blocking Darksaber. More powerful than the Darksaber, so he's kicking Bo-Katan's butt. And then a big moment comes for a great line where Moff Gideon's insulting Bo-Katan about how the Mandos are done or whatever. And Bo-Katan's like, but we always work together. Do you remember exactly what she said?
I don't.
Wow. She said, but we always work together or something like that. I thought it was cheesy as heck. And it would have been a perfect line for her to say, at least we're not alone. And then that's when Mando comes in and saves the day. Gets the final saves the day to save Bo-Katan from Moff Gideon. And that essentially, it isn't even beating Moff Gideon. It's just saving her from dying in that moment. Because then another thing, again, all this other stuff, again, I love this kind of old school Star Wars feel. And I can't help but feel, obviously, it's intentional with Filoni, that all this stuff is going on, on three different levels, just like classic Star Wars action, So what's happening the whole time that they're fighting the Praetorian Guard and Moff Gideon, what's his name again? I keep forgetting his name.
Axe Woves.
Yeah, Axe is coming down in the Imperial. The Imperial ship is basically crashing, and he's controlling it and aiming it right at the base that they're all fighting in. And he's giving everybody heads up. I'm aiming for this base, clear out, and in epic finale fashion, it crashes right into where they're fighting. Moff Gideon is just kind of, he can't do anything about it, but burn alive, assumed presumptuously, however you want to say it. I'm not saying Moff Gideon's dead. I'm just saying the show says he is, or at least wants to give us that impression.
Right.
But then Grogu, and I'm gonna give this a little shout out for Karen. Grogu, his apparent favorite Marvel action star is Groot, because in true finale Guardians of the Galaxy form, Grogu puts up a big force shield around Bo-Katan and Mandalorian, just like I'm kind of doing that, obviously tongue in cheek. I know it's not too much of a connection, but where Groot put the tree field around them when they were going to die at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, whatever. Sorry about that segue or sidebar, but anyway. Yeah, Karen liked that. I knew she would. But anyway, so Grogu saves the day with a force shield around Bo-Katan and Mando, while the whole rest of the place is burning down, including Moff Gideon and the Praetorian Guard. Right, Pat?
Yep.
Besides for the poor choice of the Groot reference, did I miss anything in that?
No.
That was a pretty quick summary.
Man, if you can't tell from my voice, this show, and now I'm going to chime in to add what Jesse said. This episode was so awesome. I literally think this episode would have been perfect if that one Bo-Katan line would have been, at least we're together. It would have been, rather than that, at least it would have said, at least we're not alone. That if that line would have been changed, this was perfect. And obviously that's a very tiny thing. So I give this episode literally a 9/9. And I'm not even done yet, Mike. I'm not even done yet. But I give this a 9/9. How do you feel so far with everything I've said, Pat? Do you have anything else?
I agree. Yeah. I mean, it's up there for me too. I mean, maybe not. I don't know if I maybe elevated that high just because there wasn't a lot of story. It was just a lot of action, but the action was really good. So that sort of evened things out. So it's still high on my list too.
Good. Yeah, because you both, you and Mike, obviously Mike didn't watch this, but you all both kind of lean that way. You're looking for more of the story stuff. I'm looking more towards the action stuff, so this is more up my game. But then I would also say this is a finale. I mean, if you're gonna
right,
if the story doesn't need to be driven forward and you're looking for the payoff, boom, this is where to put it, right?
Yes.
So then, like I said, Mike, it ain't over yet. Then
remember, I got to go to work tomorrow. Just saying.
Aren't you guys glad I didn't watch anything else this week? Anyway, then we see Mando, or actually we go back to the waters, right? The mines, the waters in the mine. What are they called again?
The living waters. Yeah,
the living waters. And I don't know who the random youngling was that was become a Mando there. Were we supposed to know who that was?
I don't think so.
So we're witnessing a Mandalorian, ceremony for one of the younglings. And then Mando comes up with Grogu and says he wants Grogu to become, a Mando like this too. Armor says he can't because he's too young.
He can't respect the creed.
Yeah, he can't accept the creed because he can't speak. It's not about his age, right? Just he can't speak. Mando says, well, I can speak. Can his parents speak for him? Armor says, well, his parents aren't here. Mando says, I'd like to adopt this youngling. And Armorer, apparently, blesses that, and it's fact, right, Pat?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Did
always
you
a
assume?
loophole.
What'd you say, Mike?
There's always a loophole.
Yeah. Did you assume that this was already said and done anyway in an unnecessary sequence? Pretty much.
Maybe. Yes or no. Yes and no, I guess.
I mean, I guess it was cool. Yeah, man, you always put my thoughts into words. That was a good way to put it. Yeah, it was cool enough. Whatever. It was fine.
Like, if his parents live so far away,
Everybody's been calling Mando dad and been calling Grogu his kid for 8 episodes or 16 episodes now. Why are we addressing this now? It seemed just kind of, like I said, unnecessary. But then anyway, he's officially adopted now. Then Mando, first place he heads is to visit, what's his name, Pat? That's going to be my catchphrase during What Kevin Watch. What's his name, Pat?
Carson Teva.
Yeah, Carson Teva.
The New Republic starfighter.
Yeah, Karen's chiming in real quick. He was already being fitted for his armor. Yeah, exactly, Karen. Yeah, everybody had accepted that, right? Yeah.
The only thing was, I think the armor was like, wait, I don't have a helmet ready for this guy. Slow down a little bit here.
That's going to be interesting. I shared a fan pic, and your first comment was about the ears. Yeah, I didn't even thought about that. Wait till we see a helmet that'll fit those ears, or it might be corny. The ears will come out of it. There'll just be holes right there in the armor, and the ears will out. So anyway, he heads to the New Republic, to his old pilot buddy, to basically tell him, hey, I want to work for the New Republic now.
They need some work. Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of under the table, no one's going to know about this but me and you. And he agrees. So I guess that's where season 4 and beyond is headed. And then we wrap up the season. And I'm just going to say, I couldn't have thought of a better wrap up for the season myself. Whenever he goes back to Navarro, and what's his name, Pat?
Grief Karga.
Grief Karga gives Mando a cabin and a plot of land out in the middle of nowhere by himself. So we end the episode with Mando chilling on the porch in his chair, and Grogu on a pond messing with some frogs, and then cut to black.
Yeah. Two quick points at the end there was the big ceremony that they reignited the Forge on Mandalore.
I forgot that. Yep.
Yeah, they're ready to set up on Mandalore, which begs the question: why doesn't Din Djarin and Grogu just live on Mandalore? Maybe this, maybe Navarro is closer to the action. I don't know how that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. It seems like being a Mandalorian has been so important to Mando this entire time. Why wouldn't he want to then join that tribe? That's true. Yeah.
Guess like I said, I think it just keeps him closer to the action. I don't know. Then the other thing was Grogu has a new name.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mike, do you want to guess what Grogu's new name is? No. He was just adopted. That's your hint.
I don't know. I'm sure
you only have 2 choices, really, when you think about it. Because he's taking a name.
Do you know Mando's name, Mike? I know you've only watched a couple episodes ever, so you might not even know Mando's name.
Yeah, isn't it like Din Djarin or something like that?
Nice. So what's Grogu's name?
Grojarin.
Oh, close. One more try. That was very close, Mike. One more try.
I don't know.
It's not Grogu Djarin. It's
I don't know.
Din Grogu.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was right on it.
Yeah, you had it. You were right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, Din's name is sort of like Japanese, where the first name is the last name is the first name. So.
Yeah. Apparently, yeah. Apparently. Man, if they carry that much beyond kind of, just. I don't know what you want to call why they did that, but if they start calling him Din Grogu on a regular basis, I'm going to be shaking my head the whole time. It's just Grogu. Come on,
He gets another action figure with his new name on it. That's what.
There you go.
Yeah, you're right. Is that where your head? See, I should have known. This is where your head goes. This entire episode. There's an action figure. There's an action figure.
Yeah, well, I know you like R5D4. Stay tuned for the rest of this episode of Comics and Collectibles.
Oh, geez. Okay. But yeah, anyway, other than a couple hokey things that I could have done without, and one tiny complaint, again, this might be the best finale of any show I've seen in a long time. This was so good.
Yeah, I kind of will go back on your point about Bo-Katan taking the spotlight. For the most part, I think she kind of did this season, but it was important to reestablish Mandalore. Now really Din Djarin doesn't really have to have anything to do with that. He can be off on his own doing his adventures with Din Grogu, and helping out the New Republic. And I think Mandalore will still probably play some kind of part, but it won't be the focus of next season for sure. I don't think.
Yeah, I think. I mean, if my wife's chiming in, I like the name change. It's sentimental for his adoption. Yeah, I get that. And I think I set Pat up for evermore. Anytime he ever's talking to me, at least he's gonna say Din Grogu just to get my goat. But anyway, yeah, this is a perfect setup. I mean, if Ahsoka is gonna get, obviously Ahsoka already has her own spin-off show now. I mean, this is a perfect setup for the adventures of Bo-Katan and the Mandalorian. So for Mandalore, whatever for right. I mean, that's a whole nother, a whole nother show.
Yeah, and one other tidbit that it flabbergasted me. Not one unhelmeted appearance by Pedro Pascal this season.
Really? I didn't even think of that.
I thought for sure this was their chance when they captured him, when Moff Gideon had him captured, that they would remove his helmet. Nope.
Yep, you're right. Which is awesome. Yeah, I love that.
But for all we know, he may have not have been on set the entire time. He might have just been over.
Well, he's sure doing a lot of extra work now, so yeah, he may not have been there. he's just phoning in voice overs. Anyway, so yeah, epic. 9.9 out of 10 for the finale. And man, I've heard people complain about this, and I'm just shaking my head the whole time, like. And people I agree with a lot of the time too, and they've got complaints, and I'm less like, what is your problem? This is anyway. Cheers to Dave Filoni. So that's it for what I watched.
That's all. I mean, the episode sounds all right.
Was the recap longer than the actual episode?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, was this like a double-sized episode, hour and a half long?
Was it, Pat? Do you know?
I don't know. It probably it wasn't that long because it was just so much action. It probably wasn't. Yeah. Didn't have a long run time.
Yeah, basically that is a good point. And contrary to your comments, Mike, we usually take about an hour for me to get through what Kevin watched. We're an hour 8. Okay, so this wasn't particularly long. It's just like I said, it's good timing that I didn't watch anything else because
right.
But yeah, everything I explained that took me a minute to explain happened in 3 seconds of screen time. So, So yeah, Mike, get on it. Seriously, Mike, get on it. Just watch this episode. If you don't watch anything else, just watch this episode. But anyway, that's about it for me. So need to get some drink, take a break. Mike, can you carry the show for a while?
I'm back at halftime. Yeah, well, I can do let me look at my checklist here. Yeah, we got the pick 3 coming up here soon, right?
True that.
All right. So we have this week, these books come out on April 26th. And we'll start with Daredevil number 10, by Marco Cicchetto, and he's just getting better and better with every book. Sins of Sinister #1, is that Dominion by Lionel Francis Yu. Thor #33, another Alex Ross Timeless, and this one has Loki. Venom Lethal Protector 2 #2, Dyke Ryan, and I specifically picked this one because of the obnoxious tongue on it.
I figured.
Yeah. And it actually received some votes, so people like that cover. Blue Beetle Graduation Day #6, Bruno Redondo, another guy like Cicchetto, just constantly solid work on Nightwing and Blue Beetle. Strange Academy #6, this is the Humberto Ramos variant. Doctor Strange #2, Alex Believe. The Neighbors #2, Stephanie Hans. After seeing this cover, I remember when this was solicited, and I passed on getting it, but I wanted this cover, so I ordered it, and then I'm going to grab #1 also and see what this is about.
Xcellar's got #1 for sale.
It's a horror book. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look
because it was an homage cover to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. So I bought it.
Oh, all right. I might have to buy that off of Xcellar.
Okay.
Is this cover a take on something also?
I figured is it Fright Night or no?
No, I think it is, but I can't place it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I think it definitely is.
Life Force, is that something?
Maybe.
I'll have to look into it.
Anybody could help us out in the comments, if you know what that Neighbors #2, if that's an homage to something, let us know what it is. We'd appreciate it.
And next up, Clobber in Time #2, Leonardo Romero, and Darth Vader Black, White, and Red #1, Takashi Okazaki. And man, the more I look at that Clobber in Time, the more I love it.
Yeah,
really?
I like it, but there's a big problem.
What?
Uh-oh. A problem.
The thing only has 3 fingers and a thumb.
Oh, that cover's terrible.
Hold on. That's not right. No, it doesn't. What do you mean?
No, that cover's incorrect.
Yeah, this cover's incorrect.
Okay. Oh, yeah. He only has 3 fingers. In this cover, he has 4. Got it.
Yep.
Oh man, what trash!
I
hope that one didn't win.
I had to cross it off my list.
Dadgummit. You can't do your research on your art first. What can you do?
Yeah.
Well, tell me what's up with the Daredevil too. Pat, you're up to date on reading it?
Well, I don't have this one, but what's your question?
I feel like that blood's coming out in a certain way for a reason.
Yeah, it's forming the hand or the fist. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's the fist logo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, that's what I figured. Okay. And then I'll bet Tom didn't vote for Venom. That's all I have.
Right. Yeah, he did point out bleh.
Yeah. Man, this is a great another great week. You know what I think is interesting about that Vader is it's kind of flat, but it works. So that it's kind of that I guess I'm identifying his kind of, it's not Japanime and it's not like American or English or whatever you want to call it. It's like right there in the middle of this kind of rough, flat look, right? I mean, it's so awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I think unfortunately I was struggling. I think that's actually an artist exclusive. I don't think that was an open order cover, which I usually stay away from those.
Oh, dadgum.
But I think I realized it after I had compiled everything. But I don't, it's usually there's like $15 on their website.
The only ones I would have left out of this were Doctor Strange and Venom if I were going to complain about any, but those still aren't bad, but I just don't like them for miscellaneous reasons. But
the only issue I had with the Darth Vader covers, I thought his lightsaber was too thin, narrow. And if you want me to pick on the Blue Beetle cover, the tangent of Ted Kord's head to the Golden Age Blue Beetle, I don't like how that's arranged up there. It's like he's growing out of his head.
Oh, that's true. I see it now. Oh yeah, you did just ruin it for me. Yeah. I was probably looking at it the proper way before you mentioned that.
The newer Blue Beetle and Ted Cord Blue Beetle, that I'm fine with that. But
yeah,
it's, I don't know.
There's some separation there. Yeah.
I do like this cover, but that kind of threw me off a little bit and made me cross it off my list.
Yeah.
You officially threw off 2 million other people now too. So congratulations.
Right.
Yeah. All right, who won, Mike?
All right. Well, we'll start with third place, and I think I can't remember how I do all this. There you go, Patrick. Third place, Blue Beetle.
Yeah, like I said, I like it all except for that head tangent off the legs.
Yeah, he's wearing a Blue Beetle for a hat. That's
right.
Essentially what's happening.
Yeah, nice hat. I'd like to see some sketch. A lot of times these guys they'll sketch up different variations and until they kind of dial it in. I'd like to see some of the other ones he had come up with.
It's always shocking to me whenever you have these covers with lack of color too. Like only have a very small color palette that it works. It's great. Yeah.
Yep. All right, and then coming in second place.
Wow.
We have Doctor Strange. There you go, Kevin. What didn't you like about this one? I think you had called this one out.
Yeah, it doesn't look.
It doesn't look good.
Okay, so
like
yeah,
the master of mystic arts that practices craft with a shirt on. Wait, maybe he does have a shirt. Yeah, it just blends in.
It looks like you can see his nipples. Yeah. And that doesn't look. That looks like I don't know. It just doesn't look right to me. And what's happening with his middle fingers? He's like this, but these I can't even make my fingers do it. They're like aiming to the you know what I mean, to a point. It's weird.
Yeah.
So just little things like that. It's like I'm not really digging that one too much.
Yeah, I mean, when you got to find reasons to get rid of books, you nitpick sometimes, and
that's true. Exactly. No, that's perfectly said. Yeah.
But in first place, I think we can all agree here.
Don't let it be Venom. Don't let it be Venom.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to the next segment then. It wasn't Venom.
Okay,
it's Daredevil.
Nice. I feel like
that is a great cover.
I'm a little too biased these days because I just like the story so much that this was my definite pick. But I'm glad to see other people are digging it too.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, what about is that the shield in the background there?
Yeah,
that looks awesome. Well, broken, but
yeah, that's well, I won't say it's
don't ruin it. I just know I need to hurry up and catch up on reading these.
Yeah, there's only 10. You can read that in a couple days.
Well, there's 10, but there's the whole series before that. I'm on issue 1.
Well, I know, but you could jump on at number 1 in this series to be on this story arc that's happening right now, right?
Yes and no.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of stuff done previously that kind of you need. This would probably be better if I read the other 30-some issues.
Right.
I'm sure it works by itself, but kind of selling myself short if I don't read it.
Yeah, you better get on that. Don't you read books in like 2 days, like novels?
No, I used to read books a lot, and then
no, I mean, like, isn't your reading ability? You read fast, don't you?
Yeah,
but
and then I had kids, and seriously.
All right, well, we'll wait until your kids are 18,
right?
And they get out and they get their own life for you to get back to your book. That's what I tell my wife every time I buy a new Star Wars novel, and I've read like 2 ever, and I own like 112. Every time I buy a new one, I'm like, well, this is for when we retire,
right?
And then she's quick to point out, what about the 3,000 comic books you have? And well, that's for when I retire too.
Yeah, I plan on doing a lot of reading when I retire.
Right.
Anyway,
all right, awesome though. Yeah, that was awesome.
There we go. There we have it.
Definitely grabbing all those. Has a villainous Alex Ross Timeless made the list yet?
Yeah, I think one. Which one?
One.
Yeah, there was definitely one that made it up there because I
I
put the title up so people would know on the TikTok, know what the actual issue was.
Yeah.
So there's been at least one.
Oh,
Maybe
the red
before.
skull, because that was your red TikTok, right? I think.
Nah.
Oh.
I can't even remember, and I compiled the lists.
Anyway, this was my favorite Timeless Villains variant, this Loki one. That was I thought this was the best one we've had so far. So anyway.
That's it.
All right, did everybody get stuff read this week?
I got stuff read this morning.
Yeah, I had to read I had to make sure I finished up my reading last night because I knew there was no way I was getting up early enough to do anything besides get a computer set up and get a show scheduled.
Yeah.
Where's my brand at? Okay. All right, here we go. Man, I wish I could manipulate that during the intro going. So it was a surprise when you came back. But Mike, you're first.
Oh man. I'm looking forward to Patrick's segment because there's a lot of pictures on here. I was trying to add one more a little bit ago to my review.
Okay, then that's fine.
That's right.
I'll go first. My pictures are in already. I'll go first.
Okay. Oh, it's uploaded. I'm good. Go ahead.
Patrick looks like he's already ready, but you have to be in the middle, Pat. Got to save your voice for what I'm assuming will be a longer than usual collectibles this week. I could be wrong, though. No pressure, no pressure, no pressure. But like I said, I gave a little foreshadowing in my misspeak when I misspoke about Grogu being Yoda in The Mandalorian. I read, that was not intentional. I read Yoda. I read Yoda number 1 and Yoda number 2. And these are the two, I actually picked the two covers that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the David Nakayama variant and this is the Todd Knock variant. Those two are two of my lately favorite variant artists. They're awesome. Isn't that cover so awesome?
Yeah.
So
I find that sometimes his background, he doesn't do backgrounds. It's like a great character and then just blank background. So I really like that one. Yeah,
it's really cool. And incidentally, I totally missed the boat on this pre-order, and so I didn't start getting Yoda until 4 and 5. But then I actually got 1 through 3, which had this Nakayama and Knock variants from Whatnot. So it was a pretty good deal too. I paid like $8 for all 3 of them.
Nice.
So anyway, Yoda. Essentially, this is kind of exciting for me. I think this is another great opportunity that I hope they don't mess up. But essentially, in issue number 1 of Yoda, we start off back at Dagobah. It sets us up as if we're going to kind of learn what Yoda was doing in Dagobah between the end of episode 3 and episode 5, whenever Luke comes. We're gonna fill in that gap, it seems. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I assumed he was just kind of sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah, you would have. I assumed that same thing with Obi-Wan too, but apparently he had a whole nother fight with Vader, and there's a whole new youngling he had to fight, and all kinds of stuff. He had to go save Princess Leia and Coruscant. Who knew? Thought Obi-Wan was just chilling on Tatooine for that whole period of time, and apparently, what we're gonna learn is Yoda isn't just chilling on Dagobah, or is he? I don't know. because the way this sets it up is like what I just said, which I was excited, like from page 1 when it kind of lays out what's going to happen in this storyline. I'm like, oh, sweet. I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. This is my second catchphrase. My first one is Pat. What's that guy's name? And my second one is I said it once. I'll say it a million times. I love lore. I love some gap filling lore in all of my favorite things. So I'm totally in for this storyline. And basically what we get is we don't know somebody is talking to Yoda. And it doesn't really say it specifically in this issue, but I feel like we're almost hearing these voices in Yoda's head. Like it might not be physically happening, right? And essentially then they take the opportunity in this conversation in, I think it's on the 3rd page of episode 1, to take us to the past, which is fine as well. Yoda is on Coruscant and he's on the Jedi Council, and they're talking about important Jedi Council stuff. And then it cuts away to this planet with this purple race of beings that I've never seen before, and how they're being raided regularly by these other race of beings I've never seen before. And there's a crashed ship on this planet, and one of the main characters that apparently we're going to be following on the planet has skills with this technology, so he actually hooks up a radio from this crash ship, because they're kind of primitive. This alien race is kind of primitive, so this crash ship is like, you know, nothing that anyone wants to mess with except for this one really smart kid. And he gets on the radio and calls for help. Just kind of sends, you know, blasts the space with a radio wave of someone send help, we're being raided. And of course it reaches Coruscant, and then there's some disagreement in the Jedi Council whether they should interrupt Jedi Council proceedings to go help these people or not. And Yoda's like, of course we must help, you know, or must help, of course we must, whatever. I'm not very good Yoda impersonator, but then Yoda heads off to this planet to help this primitive race of aliens fight these raiding forces. And it's a very simple story. Nothing special about it. Doesn't seem like there's anything deep or further meaning in the fact that it's just a primitive race of people that can't defend themselves versus a technologically advanced race of mean guys that are coming in to just steal their stuff and wreck their village every day or something, you know. Really as simple as that. Then when we get to issue 2, Yoda essentially gives blows off the Jedi Council after he's done saving them from the Raiders. The Jedi Council's like, hey, when you coming back? How long you going to be? And Yoda's like, you know, as long as I need to be, kind of being real ambiguous about it. He's like, I'll check in and stuff, but I'm going to stay here as long as I need to. And then in issue 2, after that, that's the beginning of issue 2. And then to continue on with issue 2, the Raiders think they've got Yoda's number. They actually kidnap Yoda. But Yoda intentionally let himself be kidnapped just so he could be kind of inside their, you know, base or whatever, and kind of get more details there. But that's where they kind of leave us. So, but we find out Yoda is intentionally captured to learn stuff about them, and to also get the primitive tribe to kind of brave up a little bit, because they've kind of relied on Yoda. So Yoda pretends to be the victim, so gives them a reason to fight for themselves, essentially, which that might be where this is just headed, but that's kind of where issue 2 ends. So it's really simple. Literally I read both of these issues, no joke, in 15 minutes, both of them, you know, so not a lot of dialogue, mostly action, which, you know, I'm obviously for all the action all the time, but this, I would say, if you're not a Star Wars fan, I'm kind of on the fence whether I'd even recommend it at this point without really knowing if it's going to be better. If you are a Star Wars fan, it's a definitely get it. But even if you're a Star Wars fan, I wouldn't call this a must-have. I mean, the art's cool. I really like it. But there's really not an interesting story here. It's really kind of basic so far. Maybe that'll change. Like I said, I've got the first 5 issues. I'm gonna definitely do a couple weeks here of Yoda till I get caught up on that as well. But like I said, if you're a Star Wars fan, definitely get it. If you're not a Star Wars fan, I'm kind of on the fence whether you should get it. I don't think you're missing out or gaining if you get it or not. So, all right.
Yeah, I like that #1 cover a lot.
Yeah, no, and I love it. Yeah, I literally, it's so funny. I don't know whether you do this or not. My family, most of my family could really care less about most of the comics I collect, but I made it a point to show every single one of them this guy. Look how awesome this is. It is really great. So, and it looks better in person. I mean, you know how that works,
Yeah.
Can imagine how much, better this is. And well, bag reflection aside, so anyway, so. All right, Pat, so you're up.
Okay. So my intention this week was to get caught up on Spider-Man because I'm hearing a lot of rumblings. I didn't do so good getting caught up. Surprise, surprise. I did read 1 issue, but we'll get to that in a second. I did want to, and I remembered, hey, you read something the week you were off the show. So I'm just going to touch on that quickly. And that was the Immortal Hulk hardcover, volume 4.
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to go into too much here, just to say that this continues the Al Ewing, Joe Bennett run. The horror twinged Hulk series that it has concluded. It lasted 50 issues. This collects issues 31 through 40. I suffered a little bit because I had such a long gap since I read the last hardcover. That's how I'm reading the whole series is in collected hardcover format. It had been a long time since I read 3, but I jumped right back in. It was no big deal. Same quality of storytelling here, deep horror influence in parts, but they're sort of bringing in more superhero aspects. The main antagonists in this volume are an old Hulk villain, Zemnu. He's the white, furry-looking, goofy-looking creature, but they put a twist on him that gives him a whole new subversive, mind-controlling aspect. But then we find out that the person behind this whole series, from the beginning, that was kind of working in the shadows. It's not too much of a stretch to guess who it could have been. It's probably Hulk's #1 villain, the leader. And a lot of, things come to light in this volume that he's been behind a lot of machinations, controlling what happened to the Hulk this whole time. It continues to be very good book, holds my interest. I actually have volume 5 sitting there ready for me to finish up the series. So I'll let you know how that all wraps up in the very near future, because I intend to get to that fairly quickly here.
Hey, off topic real quick, but kind of on topic. What happened to what happened with the MCU dropping the ball with the leader? Didn't it seem like we were getting the leader from the Incredible Hulk, the first movie? Didn't seem the final, was it after credits?
I think what happened was just the aspect that they supposedly cannot do standalone Hulk movies for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Because he's still, if he features in his own movie, it has to be a Universal movie, I believe. Sort of like the Spider-Man deal, but they're not as flexible on friendly terms, I guess. I'm not entirely sure, but that's why
they gave that leader teaser then,
probably because they plan to do something. And then,
oh, gotcha.
Because I'm not sure, when the first Hulk movie or the second modern Hulk movie came out, I don't think the grand overall plan. I mean, they had maybe some inklings, but I don't think they intended to do what they were going to do on a grand scheme at that point. They would have so that's why, Hulk, he featured so much in Ragnarok, because supposedly can't do standalone Hulk films, is what I've heard.
Ah,
Right.
okay, good info. Okay, I didn't know that. All right, sorry. Carry on.
No, that's all right. So, getting to my fail this week was to catch up on Amazing Spider-Man. All I did was read Amazing Spider-Man 18, Zeb Wells series. Here, this arc ties into the Dark Web, sort of interconnected limited series that weave throughout the different books. Here we are getting art by Ed McGuinness. I ordered this cover sight unseen. It was the design variant, they called it, by Ed McGuinness. Not thrilled with my results. Here's the main cover. You probably might recognize this one, if you saw it on the shelves. And this has the Dark Web branding on it. But the other one have it? No, it didn't. So this, and I'm not one to really go all in on crossover, so I was only buying the Amazing Spider-Man issues of this crossover, and I kind of felt like, and it had been a while since I read the series also, that's to my detriment, but I kind of felt like I got dropped right back in kind of at the same point where I last read. It seemed like sort of the same thing where Madeline Pryor was manipulating Ben Reilly, and it's like nothing really happened almost. The only thing that sort of progressed the story was that apparently throughout the Dark Web series, the X-Men convinced Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen, that to give up her fight of taking over, bringing Limbo to Earth or whatever, and give Madeline. Jean Grey gave Madeline her memories back. That's sort of the gist of this whole thing, was clones having their memories taken away, being not a whole character. Ben Reilly lost a lot of the pertinent Spider-Man Peter Parker memories as a clone, which sort of led him down the bad path to becoming Chasm. But here, Jean Grey, through her powers, gave Madeline some of her memories back, the memories of raising her child and letting her into Krakoa is what I'm reading into this, and embracing her as a mutant. So she's sort of turned the page. She's back. Okay, I'm going to give this up. But Ben Reilly is still irked and still messed up in the head that he lost his, with great power, Peter Parker memories. So that's kind of where we're at here. And the whole thing wraps up in like a Dark Web finale, which I don't have. So the next issue jumps right into a new storyline. I think I said when I reviewed one of the early issues, and then Tyler reviewed some of this, was that I kind of like the story, and I would probably like to flesh it out. Maybe I'll get the trade paperback that collects everything. But wasn't a lot here, honestly. And if it weren't for the really cool Ed McGuinness artwork, it would probably be a forget it. I'm kind of left somewhere in the middle, kind of undecided. It's okay. But the caveat I give that is it's part of this Dark Web whole storyline, and this is just a piece of it, and I'm not getting the full story. So part of me says, don't listen to me if you're enjoying the Dark Web
right
storyline. You'll probably like this issue because it furthers the story, and like I said, it does have really good artwork. So for me, I'm left kind of cold, but hopefully for big Amazing Spider-Man fans and Dark Web fans that are enjoying this, it'll be a get it for them.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like when they do these mini series and it crossovers into the books, I think a lot of times it takes the wind out of the sails of the writer of the like Amazing Spider-Man, like Wells. If he's got this plan, and then they say, "Oh, in the middle of your plan, we need you to cover this."
For sure.
It just slows things down. It's like, if you want to tell that Dark Web story, tell it in a Dark Web miniseries.
Yeah.
I think they do a disservice to the actual title.
Yeah.
And that might be what happened here.
Yeah.
So
okay, so a Kind of undecided, but get it for anybody who's enjoying dark web already. Got it.
Yeah, because the art, like I said, the artwork. If
Mhm.
you like, I know Ed McGuinness is sort of a polarizing artist too. A lot of people, he kind of leans, sort of cartoony in a way, and I know some people don't like him, but I'm a big fan. In fact, why
Yeah.
didn't I put him on the wheel?
Yeah, he would have been.
Yeah.
Another thing with the wheel, back to that, is bodies of work. It's for some of the artists, if they've only been around for 10 years or so, I'm like, well, I want somebody that's had some longevity. But
Yeah,
I think I heard some rumblings. I can't wait for you to continue with the Amazing Spider-Man, because it hasn't come out yet, but I heard that Zeb Wells said something about he's going to anger a lot of people.
yeah, exactly.
Which, it's like, dude, that's not your job, man. You're supposed to make the fans happy. You're not supposed to make them mad. You make them mad and they stop buying the book, and then, I don't know. It's like, what are you doing? So
that's why I wanted to get caught up.
Yeah,
because I think they're finally going to get it back to the mystery of what Peter Parker did that upset everyone, and why he's sort of an outcast, and that whole thing. They're finally getting to that. 20 some issues into this current Zeb Wells run.
Yeah. Don't make me dislike Peter Parker. I mean, that's all right. Let's see. First off, I was gonna read this. It's Monster Tag Team from American.
Am I taking this away? You're not putting up any pictures, or
I am going to put up pictures, but so
we
I
can't
read the
do
first.
that, Mike. You should take down your green
Man.
screen.
That's
Just
right.
turn your green screen off for a second. Yeah.
Anyway, that I have to go into settings. Anyway, it was awful.
What was it? I don't even know what it is.
Okay, I'll turn this off. It's called Monster Tag Team, and I'm just grinding the show to a halt, just so I can show this book that people shouldn't buy.
All right.
I can't even find it.
It's right there in settings.
Yeah, I do this all the time.
Yeah, I know. And then virtual background.
Yeah, virtual background.
And then off.
But also my computer's going very, very slow. None.
All right. There we go, Mike. See it now.
It's gone. Okay. So anyway, this
Can you put it up closer to your camera real quick?
Monster Tag Team.
Okay.
It looks great. Dracula, Wolfman. That's like right up my alley.
Right.
And I got like 4 pages in, and I couldn't stand it. I tried reading it twice.
Oh man, that sucks.
So save your money. Don't buy. And it's a series. Like there's someone. They're gonna be different monsters tag teaming different issues.
Did you get the gist of it? At least, like, what's the plot?
I don't know. It was some CIA agent working with Dracula or something. I don't know.
Okay. All
I
right.
just gave up on it.
All right. So that's so much of a forget it. He forgot it a quarter way through. Got it.
Yeah. I didn't even read that far. I read like 4 pages. So I did read Ghost Rider 13. And
okay.
This is volume 9 for Ghost Rider.
That's so crazy.
Yep. So this is written by Benjamin Percy. The pencils are Corey Smith, and the inks are Oren Jr. And the artwork is fantastic, and the covers are great. I think it's that Ryan Brown, maybe, he does those covers. But and this is cool because we've got 2 timelines we're following in this issue. The present timeline is with Johnny Blaze and an FBI agent, Talia. I'm not sure. I haven't been reading this series. I'm not sure. I think she's a regular in here. And the second timeline is 6 months prior, and it follows Danny Ketch and a scientific doctor that he's working with. So basically, in Johnny's timeline, he's looking into a nightclub event where a lot of people had died. The DJ was doing something and produced this demonic like sound, and it just killed everybody. And this is the panel from when that happened. And the main reason I got this book was because of the cover. And I was like, man, that looks like some Weapon X helmet going on there. And this is all we get, the whole issue. This is the only panel with that helmet.
Dadgummit. I gotta hate that.
I know. So anyway, in Danny's timeline, the doctor offers to separate Danny from the spirit so he wouldn't be the Ghost Rider if he helps her with her research. And by the end of the issue, the two timelines converge. You know, the 6-month part catches up to the current time, and it's basically going to be brother versus brother. And so this is the next issue. We've got Johnny Blaze fighting Danny Ketch. So I think and hopefully we find out more. That's basically what turns out to be is I think that helmet is on Danny Ketch. So is it like a Weapon X project type of thing? I don't know. When you look at the comparisons,
very similar. Yeah,
very similar. So I say it was get it. I definitely want to get the next issue, and I want to go back and get the other ones because it was really well written. I think Benjamin Percy is a good writer, so I think those issues are worth it. So
is that last? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is that last picture you just showed? Is that the cover for the next issue?
Yes, this is the cover for issue 14. It comes out May 10th.
Oh man, that's sick. Talk about a unique Ghost Rider cover. That's awesome.
Yeah, it looks really great. So so they got me with what may or may not be the Weapon X helmet. I don't know. If it is, that'd be kind of cool. If it isn't, that's fine too, because this is a really good story.
Well, if it isn't, it's a total ripoff. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, hey, what's that would be a bit disappointing, I guess.
Yeah. It doesn't even. So you said that's the only picture in the entire book that referenced it at all. Does it in any words? Does it reference it? Does it say?
No,
no,
because that the top panel is is Talia, the FBI agent, and she's describing the events that happened at the nightclub to Johnny Blaze, and so that's kind of like a flashback panel. That's all we get, and that character was blocking the door, and by the end of the book, that's where you kind of realize that that's Danny blocking the door. So, and Johnny doing the investigation of what happened at this club. That's where he's going to cross paths with Danny. He's the one that was part of what happened at the club there. So,
gotcha.
But it's really good. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I'm glad that I bailed on the monster tag team because this is good monster stuff here.
And you jumped in. You didn't have any backstory on this. You just jumped in right at 13.
Yeah, just jumped right in. Now there's a little synopsis. They do the paragraph on the first page.
Yeah.
I read that, and it really didn't. I didn't need it. This book was all I could understand everything that was going on.
Awesome. Yeah, so you gotta love. Those are the best. Those are the best. Yeah. Okay.
So this is a get it.
So aside from maybe a little bit of bait and switch with the cover, it's a get it. Nice.
Yep. It's not for kids. It's a really heavily horror book.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. Karen, thanks.
Greatly appreciated.
All right, no pressure. Pat, everybody's been looking forward to this for a long time now. So
yeah, at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
All right. So, yeah, it's been a while since I had a Horizon to talk about. And in the meantime, Star Wars Celebration happened April 7th through 10th in London this year. And combine that with the fact that Mando Mania is still going on. We got a lot of Star Wars to catch up on. So let's start out with some Indiana Jones. Okay. This is the next wave of Indiana Jones 6-inch Adventure Series figures. Here we have...
Sorry, I had to check out for a minute.
Yeah, no problem.
What I missed?
We're talking about Star Wars. Can't you tell?
Yeah, hopefully all of your pictures are there, Patrick, because when I went to add mid-show, I went to add the side-by-side comparison of Weapon X with the current cover for Ghost Rider. There were too many pictures. I had to delete a few of mine.
Okay.
So hopefully your all your stuff's there.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we
one
will.
way or the other. Let's do this one first. This because this gives you an example. This is the second wave, Kevin, of the Adventure Series 6-inch Indiana Jones figures, and they're doing a build an artifact in this line so far. The first one was the Ark of the Covenant.
That's cool.
If you can see the little symbol there, it's the temple with this Sankara stones. So this is the first figure, Temple of Doom Indy. This wave is very indie heavy, which is unlike the current wave, which seems to be a kind of an issue for Hasbro because there's only one indie figure in that line, and a lot of people aren't finding him. The other figures are kind of stagnating, which we kind of speculated when we first talked about them. Everybody wants the indie, but the other ones are kind of a hard sell. So lots of indie in this wave. Temple of Doom Indy with his unbuttoned shirt there. There's the back where you can again see the build an artifact up in the upper corner. And if we take a shot of the side here, we can see the figures in the wave, and they're kind of doing a nice job, sort of like the Marvel Legends, where they're spelling out the Build-A-Figure pieces and who is in the wave right on the box there for you.
That's cool.
Now, as we talked last time, I would assume this will probably, if the Adventure Series 6-inch line continues, they will probably revert to, a window packaging where you can see the figure inside the box. This will probably be the last all cardboard if, like I said, the line continues. So Indy, we have Dial of Destiny Indy. I have this one mislabeled, so yippee for me. This is the new movie that's coming out, Dial of Destiny. This is the older Indy. Let me see if I have let's just go in order. Cairo. This one is not. See, unfortunately, we all know this is a problem when you put pictures in. They just shove them in there, and seems to be no rhyme or reason. Unless you take the time pre-show, like we all should, your pictures aren't in order.
Right.
So mine are kind of mixed up here, but this is not part of the current wave. This sort of gloms on to the first wave. This is Cairo Indy, comes with a little monkey there. No build-up part figure for this figure, unless I specify. These are all the standard. What is standard now? $25 6-inch Adventure Series figure. There's Helena Shaw from the new movie, The Dial of Destiny. We have Hypnotized Indy from Temple of Doom.
They look good though.
Yeah. Here's a deluxe figure. I think this was meant to be a convention exclusive or something because it's 40. It sort of attaches to that first wave of indie figures. Is this Temple Escape Indy. He comes with the little idol stand with the
That's cool
sandbag and the idol. Here, that's a side view. There you can see they're using the same kind of packaging, and it shows the first wave of figures on the corner there. This is, I showed him already, right? Temple of Doom Indy. Yeah, because of the 3 shots. Here is a 2-pack. This is Marcus Brody and Belloc from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Well, Marcus Brody is in the third movie also, I believe. That's a 2-pack for 56.
Is Balak in the third movie?
He's in.
JK. I know.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Got me there, Kevin. I had to jump back and think about it for a second. And Short Round. Hey,
that's awesome.
Yeah, he rounds out the this wave of Build-A-Figure.
Was the pun intended there?
It was not. He was the last on the list somehow, so it just worked out right.
Nice.
Well, let's see. Unless an indie got slipped in here somewhere else in my body of pictures, that looks like it. So we move on to what we were talking about: Star Wars Celebration / Mando Mania. This was a Mando Mania. We'll get this little higher priced item out of the way. This is a new updated Bo-Katan bust. Couple shots of it here. Awesome. Nice detail. I really like it. But my file name is too long, so I can't see the price, but I think it was like 120. So these Gentle Giant busts are just like we talked about it when we showed the Axe Woves bust, or the what's his name, Paz Vizsla, coming in at 120. The even the mini busts / busts are not affordable like they were back in the day.
Yeah.
So we'll go to, and again, these are going to be all mixed up, but we're going to try to do Black Series first. So there is a Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane 2-pack.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
So this is a Mando reference. What do you think whenever he had grabbed the Trooper's back or jetpack and he was wearing the Trooper's jetpack?
I thought, wow, he's going to be really putting that backpack to good use.
Well, the other thought, did you notice his cape? That was the first time I ever noticed his cape kind of tucked around it the way. Did you notice that?
I did not.
Yeah, it was very interesting to me. It's something really kind of obscure and vague. I didn't know whether you noticed that. Okay, but anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
This 2-pack is a Target exclusive. It's $56, but you can still get your Cad Bane packaged by himself as a regular Star Wars Black. I may have shown him previously. It gets confusing going because there's Black Series and the Vintage Series, and announcements when they first are revealed, and then announcements when they're put up for order. So if he's been up before, I apologize, but they put him out there again this week or the week before. Yeah,
it is hard to track. I come across the same thing with my shows now, especially since I watch such obscure things sometimes. I'm like, and we've been doing this over a year now. So I'm like, did I review this one or not? It's like,
right.
I need an archival thing I can reference, which obviously I need to do that myself. But I almost grabbed this one. This one was in my hands. Didn't quite make it to the register.
Good for you. You've mentioned a couple times about newer stuff, finding newer stuff. I just have not seen yet. So
yeah. That 2-pack's awesome though. I'm glad I didn't grab it because if I do grab it, I'd want to grab that 2-pack. What's the price on? Is that a $25.99 or whatever for the single Cad Bane?
$25 retail. So maybe a little less, a little more depending on where you go.
Why is this one $56 then? Is this the only way you can get Cobb Vanth? Probably.
Right now, probably. Yeah. I think it comes with a few more accessories. Yeah. And the tax of being an exclusive probably adds to that. I don't know what their pricing structure, what they're up to these days, trying to figure those things out. But this is another one I believe was intended to be like a show exclusive or a Pulse exclusive. This is tied to the anniversary of Return of the Jedi. The Force Spirits, and they're boxed in a overall Force Spirits box, but they are individually carded inside that box.
I love these, man. I hated when they had figures of these before and they were just totally solid, kind of a translucent blue. I hated those.
Just like a blob of translucent, sparkly glitter, Yeah,
it's like, this doesn't look good, but this looks awesome.
They look good. I'm going to show a close up, and a little bit of doubt starts creeping in.
Okay.
It's like they're wearing see-through lingerie.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. The overall effect I think is pretty well done. You know?
Is that fabric?
Yeah.
Huh, yeah. I thought they were pulling that effect off some other way. Yeah, that's kind of. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I thought,
still looks okay. Although
yeah, I
I don't know
thought
how
they-
well that face is looking like Hayden either. I don't know. You
A
know.
lot of people have commented on that face.
Yeah. Sorry, what were we saying, Mike?
I thought they were going to be cast in like that see-through plastic, but then painted on top to kind of look like.
Yeah, give it some effect like that without having an actual.
Yeah.
So you could take this off. So this essentially is two figures. You could have ghost and regular of both if it's removable, right, Pat?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Hmm.
Another deluxe in the Star Wars Black is they're putting out Jabba again, with the the Return of the Jedi anniversary packaging. Here he is he's in a all cardboard packaging. He's been out in the Black. He was out in the Black Series early on. In fact, he didn't seem to be a big seller because I got him on clearance, I believe.
This is one of my big regrets from my childhood. I had the original one that was like this. I loved it
Yeah.
so much. Yeah.
I wish I could remember offhand how much I got Jabba on clearance for, because when they're putting him out now, he's $90. So,
wow. Guess what
Yeah.
I saw on clearance in my Target this week too? Kind of not really attached, except it's collectible.
what's that?
The Dungeons and Dragons figures.
Yeah, they've been on clearance, but we didn't get enough stock to go on clearance here in my area.
Like, oh, that doesn't bode well for continuing, But anyway.
Yeah. Star Wars Hasbro is correcting a wrong, righting a wrong here, and they're putting out a new Chrysanthemum.
Awesome.
Miles above the previous release.
Definitely. That's awesome. That's way better.
Here he is out of box.
Oh man, that looks so cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a really good looking figure.
And they got that armor right. I mean, how
Yeah.
hard? I mean, it doesn't seem like it should be that hard, but obviously they got it right the second time. That looks so good. Yeah.
With the extra bulk comes an extra price tag. For some reason, he's $34. He's sort of, when they do these things, we kind of touched on this with the Across the Spider-Verse thing, or Return to the Spider-Verse, whatever it's called, is that they do a wave of figures and they price them out, new sculpt, new paints, whatever. Chrysanthemum's sort of standalone. He's an oversized figure, so they're taking that opportunity to give you an oversized price tag. He's $34. So around $10 more than the normal Star Wars Black Series.
I'd get
But he's
that.
good. He's really, I really like that figure. Another 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi. This is Jedi Luke. Looks like a rendered image. It doesn't look like a final figure. But yeah, putting him back out on the card.
Are they in green plastic or something in the bubble there? Is that what that is?
That's just because it's a render. It's a digital render.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. What's going to be clear plastic is sort of, overlapping the figure, and just
okay.
Just because it's a digital render, it looks kind of funky. Omega from Bad Batch here in mercenary gear. And there she is with, that's what she comes with, an extra head and some weapons.
It's cool. That's an underused character. Omega's pretty great. What, Mike?
Her head looks really big.
A little bit disproportionate.
Yeah.
I would say it's kind of on model for the show, though. She kind of, I think
she's true. This is,
yeah, she kind of has a big head.
Yeah. She needs to grow into the head.
All right.
Her cloning might be off. Here is a new anniversary R2D2, and they've had some scale issues with Black Series R2. I can't remember if he was too big, too small, but supposedly they're correcting the scale with this release. And that's, a Jedi, Return of the Jedi tied R2, so we're getting a lot of the extra accessories that
all these tools fit on him at one time.
Yeah,
or Or
Yeah,
do you have to
well,
take one out
yeah,
and put one in, kind of thing?
yeah. You probably have to mix and match.
Mm.
But since they were retooling R2, here we go, Kevin.
Sweet.
We've got who has also been out in Black Series, but he was a GameStop exclusive. So now have a wider release. He'll have the new scale sculpt, just like R2 does.
Is that the only picture you have of him?
Yes, unfortunately they didn't have. Well, they had more pictures, but no inbox now because I had so many. I was trying to limit the number per character. So,
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, the Royal Guard from Jedi on the anniversary card.
Nice.
No, nothing. They can't really do much right or wrong, I guess, with them. They're pretty simplistic.
Yeah.
And a Return of the Jedi Darth Vader, with
that actually looks like that looks like one I might grab. That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe if you've held off until now, this might be the Darth Vader to get.
I don't have money, Pat. I'm broke.
That's what I should have done. I should have taken the extra time to add up everything I'm showing.
Yeah.
We talked about that with previews.
Yeah.
I don't know if, Mike, did you ever follow up on that to see if the preview still does that?
I haven't, but I will though, because we're gonna
do a preview show. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'll be grabbing a previews. I haven't used previews in ages, but I will be.
Okay.
I'm excited for that too. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
Here we have a Tusken Boba Fett from Book of Boba Fett.
Interesting. Mm.
I'm sorry, we've jumped into the 3 3/4 inch vintage series here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the rest of these are vintage. So
I guess that's all right. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how all in you are on a character or a line, especially because I haven't been paying attention to vintage pricing, but they're saying retail $17 for this figure. So here's another multi-pack. This is a 4-pack of Jabba's court denizens. I'm sorry, pronunciation, Patrick. And just to show you, they like the Force spirits. They're individually packaged inside that overall box. So again, didn't take individual pics of all those just to save space, but they're all individually packaged like this one.
These are some of my favorite,
Are there?
some of my lower level background character favorites that, when I was playing with action figures as a kid, I would pay as much, if not more attention to these than the main characters, because I thought they were so cool. I love that, outlying stuff that a lot of people don't seem to be paying attention. That's one of my original, attractions to Boba Fett is like, knowing, obviously he was pretty cool to a percentage of the community pretty much right away, but he was kind of second tier still to obviously Luke and Darth Vader and stuff, and even more so being further down the list with these guys. I love to play with these guys. These are awesome.
Well, you can play with them all over again.
Right.
We'll put them
the first thing you lose as you grow old is your imagination. I don't think, as much as I love these, it'd all be nostalgic. If I tried to whip these out on a table and do something, I'd just be like, this sucks. What am I doing with my life?
Yeah. All right. So Chrysanthemum also in 3 3/4 inch form. He looks equally
that
good.
That one actually
here.
looks better too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's in the all cardboard packaging till that switches over. There you can kind of see on the back he comes with quite a few accessories. And continue on with vintage. This is Jedi Academy from Book of Boba Fett Luke, CGI Luke. Again, you get the same kind of deal going on. This looks like a digital render where you're getting that weird effect of the bubble overlapping the figure. But here he is out of box. He looks fine.
Yeah.
But nothing special, I guess. Moff Jar Jarrod.
Talk about getting down the line of what you're gonna grab.
Yeah. 9 Numb.
Is that how you pronounce that?
That's how I've always pronounced it.
I've always said Neonum.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't. They never say his name, do they?
Right. He's awesome too, though. Obviously, get a Millennium Falcon with him and Lando in there. You got a party.
Yep. And there
we
we
go.
R5D4 in this line also. So, see, as featured in Mandalorian season 3.
Looks like I'm gonna own a couple R5D4s.
This was, I think, these last couple were Mando Mania reveals. Here is Tusken Raider, a Tusken Warrior, and Massif. Their
I
little
say
dog.
Massive.
Their little creature.
Yeah,
Dog
it's awesome.
creature.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have no, I don't have a price on him. I don't know why. There he is out of box. Looks good.
It does. Oh man.
Lot of Tusken Raiders in this vintage line for you, Kevin, if you were going.
Yeah. I was just talking to Jesse yesterday about how she was at, I can't remember what we saw, but she saw something that had a bunch of changeable hands and stuff. And she's like, what's up with the hands and the heads and the stuff? And I was like, there's literally people that just, put these things together just to pose and make dioramas and then take a picture and post it online. That's what they do. And they want all these options, And I'm like, well, guess what? Every time I see one, I like it. So I'm torn as to whether I actually physically want one or I just enjoy other people doing this,
Right. Yep. And then the thing, this is something that I've done sort of a 180 on, because I never really liked the Naboo fighter. And I wasn't that keen on, when it showed up in Mandalorian as Din's starfighter. But I've come around and I really like it, and I think this is really cool. We have his N1 starfighter. There he is in the box. More impressively is this shot, out of box. And I just think it looks. I really like it. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not just saying this to be dramatic for the viewers, but I'm going to say this. I've said it once. I said it a million times. I'm going to say it again. I'm telling you, me and you, this is where we're kindred spirits, because exactly the way you just described your Naboo starfighter journey, I'm exactly on board with that. Like, especially up until like the actual first time we saw it on The Mandalorian, I was like, Naboo starfighter, because I was still kind of cold on him. I'm like, I'm not really how are they gonna make? But now with the journey we've made and look at it, it's like, yeah, that's pretty awesome, actually. I'm the exact same way with you with so many Star Wars things. Yeah, it looks so cool.
Yeah, it comes with a nice display stand too, which is I think kind of unusual. They don't usually include display stands like that, which
they always should. I hope they keep that trend forever. That's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, you got your Din Djarin and your Din Grogu and
Does it say on the bot? Oh no, that was
yeah. Well, Karen, $132.
Oh my gosh.
I think if I remember, I heard that like the normal Naboo starfighter when episode 1 came out or whatever was like $39.99.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a big enough picture to see if this is all new name.
Pre-last episode.
Yeah. So
we'll see in future.
Yeah. On the second release, so the variant collectors can buy it again. It'll have his full name.
What's going on there with that? Showing the action figure on card with the yellow bubble. I can't read it. It's too small. What's it
I think they're just showing you that you're not getting just a figure tossed in there. He actually comes on card. That's that's a value.
Oh, gotcha.
For some people, if they want to open it up and just collect the figure on the card, I think a lot of people they're looking for that.
Gotcha. That's okay. I gotcha. What is oh, that's the stand. I was going to ask what the circular thing in the bottom picture was. That's the stand for the ship.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah. I mean,
it looks really good.
Probably won't be getting it, but man, I'm tempted.
I might ask for this for Christmas.
Yeah, this is definitely
you.
something I'd look for, you know, if it made it to clearance. Hopefully they pump out a lot of them and they make it to clearance.
Well, see, kind of referencing my Mando with his cape. If you were to put that jetpack that's obviously removable on that action figure, would you do it under the cape, remove the cape, or tuck the cape? What would you do?
Yeah. It's sort of, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. No answer
Right?
for you there. Yeah.
I hope that Grogu's arms are posable too, because being up and cheery all the time would not go with how I play with this thing.
Right.
Aaron obviously wants his arms up all the time, either cheering or reaching for dad. That actually, I'm going to state. I didn't mention this either. I am so over the whole "your kid" thing, and I don't know whether maybe they said it a couple extra times because at the end we were getting the adoption. But I'm so over the whole, them people talking like this is your. I'm not down for that anymore. It's like obviously it isn't. It's just it's he's they're a team. Essentially. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of but who
yeah.
I could be in the outlier there. I don't know, but anyway.
Right. Finally, we'll even ramp the price up even more here. This is something I've never brought up. Yeah, he's 50 years old. You're right, Karen.
Yeah, he's older than Mando. Perfectly good point, Karen. Thank you.
Never talked about Hot Toys on the show. I don't know if either of you are familiar with Hot Toys.
I don't think so.
They're 1/6 scale figures, so basically 12-inch figures. They're highly detailed, expensive figures. They've been around since 2000. They've done a wide array of licenses, especially Star Wars and the MCU, but they've also done a lot of other movie properties. So they're more movie focused, and they've also done MCU TV shows too, things like that. But because of Star Wars Celebration, they announced because they've done these figures before. These are new versions, I think, mainly tied to the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. And finally to get up on the screen, they showed a new C-3PO, and we'll go through a couple pictures. There he is to scale with an apple. What size apple? I don't know. And he comes with Salacious B. Crumb, lots of different hands. You can see he has the plucked out eye feature. You can swap in and swap out. There he is. He comes with the little stand. And these are, I mean, a lot of love out there for Hot Toys. I don't have any myself, so I can't comment on, personally how the quality, but they've been around for 20 plus years now. And a lot of I know like Alex Ross and Adam Hughes are a big fan of Hot Toys, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Well, because, you have to have some
awesome
deep pockets to collect Hot Toys. We'll tell you right now, C-3PO is $324.
Jeez.
That's why I've never heard of him.
Right.
Yeah,
and there he is. There he is with R2. I don't know if this is a new R2 coming out or previously released R2. But they for years now, they've been sort of the gold standard with 12-inch action display figures, I guess you'd say. And the other release and the more involved and heavier hitter of the two, I'd say, is this Darth Vader figure. So again, lots of different accessories. They're just, they're quality Hot Toys. There's the different unmasked.
Oh my God, that looks so good.
And notice, they used to have, I'm not sure that this is different. A big deal was always made of the articulated eye. So you can actually open the back of their head and there's like a little lever where you can shift the direction their eyes are looking.
Oh my God. Wow.
Now, the weird thing about that is they would move symmetrically. I don't know if, terminology wise, what I'm saying though. You could, but here they're saying separate rolling eyeballs. So potentially you could make some goofy
one look to the
Make 'em
left, one look to the right.
Yes, exactly. It's actually a thing out there where you can get on some roads you probably don't want to talk about here on the podcast, where you can make the eyeballs looking in separate directions and come up with some pretty goofy looking pictures. So I believe they've kind of avoided that for that reason, but it looks like here that it's the case where you can maneuver them separately. And
Wow.
but the whole moving eyeballs is crazy,
Yeah.
but it works well. I've seen lots of pictures, where people have done some pretty neat things. There he is. Okay, so there's two versions. There's a deluxe and a collector's edition of this Vader figure. The collector's edition is 300, and that's what we're looking at here. And this is the deluxe edition, which you have the
Just all the extras.
the electrocuted helmet with the
Oh,
glow.
the electrocuted head, man, that is so awesome.
Here's a
Oh, it
close
lights
up
up.
of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's worth the money right there.
I mean,
Tell
if
me
you're
you have a
spending,
picture of him beside an Emperor pick.
I don't think I do here. No.
That'd be a great pick to see together, right?
Yeah, I think they did have a pic of him hoisting the Emperor. Actually, the one on the right looks like it might be. They just cropped it here,
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're spending $300 already, spend the $45 extra and get the
Totally agree with that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's everything in that lineup. Look at all the extra hands and the heads and the stand and everything, and there he is holding his.
Hey, this is kind of a weird question, but this is totally to do with these. So if you're displaying all these, like, do you have much displayed in your house right now, Pat?
I unfortunately do not really.
Yeah, I'm the same. Some action figures, but not much. How do the people that display all these, have you ever heard, since it seems like you're like checking out these conversations and forums and stuff more than me, do they ever talk about how they keep these clean? Do they use like canned air and constantly?
Oh yeah, that's a
like
big thing with figures and with statues. You can get the makeup brush, and it works well for dusting off statues.
Because you got to get all the nooks and crannies. Yeah, it's tough to keep the dust out. Yeah.
I've heard some pros and cons about compressed air. I mean, because of the chemical element involved, it may not be. Some people have no problems using it. Yeah, there you go. You could always acrylic clear boxes, and people do that. Even though a lot of people use like this, IKEA display shelves and things like that are inside glass, dust still gets in there.
I know, it's amazing. I've remember that one that Grendel I had, Mike, that was in the glass case. Yeah, he would still get dusty in there. I'm like, how is this happening? But it happens.
Yep.
You don't keep up on them, and then they gets away from you. Then you got thousands of dusty stuff just sitting around. It sucks,
Right.
You got to make sure you do it weekly, it seems,
Yeah.
It's always crazy when you dust. Essentially, this is how I feel. If you don't dust regularly, it builds up. But if you dust regularly, it feels like when you're dusting, you're not dusting anything because you can't see.
You're not doing anything.
You know what I mean? It's so weird. Oh, that's a good question, Karen. Karen's chiming in. We need to ask Tyler how he keeps up his action figures. Because, he's got, I would say, close to 100 displayed now. If not more. Yeah. So, you know what I'm probably going to get? You know what his response is probably going to be? He's like, I don't know. I don't clean these. We're going to visit his house and all his stuff's going to be collecting dust. But you know what I'm saying? If it feels like if you dust regularly, it doesn't feel like you're doing anything.
Yeah,
if you don't dust regularly, it builds up. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Pat. Go on.
That's it for the Horizon. A rather lengthy Star Wars segment, but
awesome
to catch up on. So
that was good too. Yeah. And that in the all those are great. All of them are great. And yeah, man, I can't tell you how much I think my personal favorite thing about the Horizon is because obviously since I'm into this a little bit, I see some of the stuff you're showing. But when you whip out with a Hot Toys thing that I've never even heard of or seen before, man, that's sweet. I wish I could afford it. Someday maybe. I still haven't given up hope of I want to be 70 grabbing my first $300 action figure. When we hit our 70s, they're going to be a $900 action figure.
What's the company that did the high-end action figures? Maybe it is Hot Toys, and I'm
no, yeah. What was those? Eric used to collect them. Is that the one you're thinking of? Yeah. What are those, Pat? That come in got a Velcro opening, and they're like 12-inch, and they got all the accessories.
Yeah, they're
characters?
What
characters?
Like Cap Marvel. At least the ones he had was Marvel.
Yeah, it was there were Marvel characters. Actually, he
had
a Batman,
General Giant.
Joker.
General
Giant.
Right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were probably the premier 12-inch for a while until Hot Toys came around and blew them out of the water.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because those were epic.
Yeah.
I think the only one I ever handled that Eric had was an Iron Man. He got Iron Man when it first came out. This was back when, Iron Man 2 or 3 came out or something like that. And he grabbed it and man, it was awesome. So Hot Toys is blowing them out of the water. Those must be super ridiculous because I think he paid like 150 or something for those. So
Hot Toys sort of made their name on Iron Man, so it's possible it could have been a Hot Toys Iron Man. There are so many Hot Toys Iron Men out there.
Oh, really?
You just think about how many different armors they could do.
Yeah,
and they've done them. So they're super nice. They've even done. They started out as their typical Hot Toys Iron Man, but then they've also done die-cast versions of those figures too. So it's crazy. There's so many Iron Men out there. It's unbelievable.
Hey, speaking of diecast, I know this isn't. We're not doing a segment on what I got, but I got this yesterday. Check this out.
I saw that.
It's the latest, right? And most of them are the same as.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of them, but then they got, a couple new Walmart exclusives in the bottom, and I don't remember seeing a couple of these in here before. So I feel like there's a couple new ones, but I thought another cool new addition that I hadn't noticed before is these are actually intended to cut out and be backgrounds for the minifigs. You kind of set them in front of you cut these out and then sit them in front of like that. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I noticed that set. I think it's a Walmart exclusive, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We went to a Walmart in Richmond and it had all kinds of stuff I hadn't seen before. You know what it didn't have though, Mike? It didn't have NFL 5. I looked for that. It didn't have that.
Right. We have our. I got the box in with the 27 packs.
Oh, you did?
It's just sitting there.
Talking about NFL. You know what NFL 5s is, Pat?
Nope.
And I guess all the listeners, it's like it's a football Magic the Gathering style game.
With actual football players. Yeah.
It has a placemat that's a football field, and you put a football in it, and you play cards, like Magic kind of style, for lack of a better way to describe it, to move the football up and down the field to score points, just like a regular football game. It's really cool. So of course we're kind of in on that right now. So another thing to be into.
Right.
And it's not expensive. That's what's so great.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
It's cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys aren't being serious, are you? It's
what?
Really it's actually cheap.
It's super cheap. Yeah.
I got it was $27 for
a booster box, right?
Is it? Yeah, it's 27 packs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you can get the individuals for like $3, but you can't find them anywhere. That's what I was saying. I can't find them anywhere. I found 2 ever since Mike told me about them. But anyway,
who's putting it out?
Panini.
Panini. Yeah. And it's in its fourth season. Yeah. It started in 2019.
Wow.
We didn't hear about it till this year, but it's got 2020, 2021. Oh, 2022 out too, aren't they, Mike?
Yeah, 19, 20, and 21 and 22. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Marcus into that because he was collecting just normal football cards, right?
Right. Yep.
Well, that's how it came about. He got some for his birthday.
Karen's double checking who's putting it out, and Panini. I think me and Mike talked over each other. Panini, Panini.
Yep.
Which I guess there's some controversy with Panini. I guess people are saying that's I don't know. Is there controversy with Panini? I don't know. We're not card people.
They're everywhere now. They're like what Topps used to be. I don't even know if Topps does cards much anymore.
Gotcha.
But all I see in the stores is Panini. But these are retail box stores. I'm not going to the actual card shops.
Yeah,
out there.
I didn't even think of checking our local card store or game store to see if they have them, but I should. But anyway,
yeah, I think you have to go to Fairfax and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll move us into our final segment. We ready?
Yeah.
Mike, you been taking notes?
I took a couple.
Awesome. Mike, what's your first one of a couple?
All right. Well, my first one actually has just a quick rundown of the artists we're using for Cover Combat 4. Todd McFarlane, Mike Zeck, Jim Lee, Bill Sienkiewicz, John Buscema, and Francisco Matina. So
Can't wait to see that new logo with Pat.
Yeah. And I've notified everybody. I've notified everybody of their artist.
Was there any replies back?
Yes, Johnny replied one.
What
I can't reveal what it was. I can't say.
Oh, but he didn't say get this garbage away from me or nothing like that.
No, it was
ambiguous.
It was one of those things like I can't even. He had submitted a cover prior. He's like, oh man. Kind of like, I wish I hadn't done that because I'd use it now.
Yeah, there's that too. Yep.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Yep. And those, I mean, we can say those covers are still. I think you can still submit a cover that's already been submitted if you want, but a lot of times
I thought we decided you couldn't. Didn't we say that?
I can't remember.
I think you should. Here's what it should be: is we should at least try. You know what I mean? Like I think that Moon Knight obviously is the example to come up with. I think that was a mistake. He didn't remember he had submitted before. As long as it's not intentional, you're obviously submitting the same cover all the time. I think it's fine.
Or a winner, definitely.
Yeah, I think winner's definitely excluded, right, Mike?
Yeah. The three, but they're not even in the contention
we don't
anyway.
have to worry about it.
Art Adams, Finch, and Ross. Or no, not Ross. Archer.
Well, that goes for any theme we ever use in the future. Winners. The only time we'll ever see winners again is when you have like 10, and we'll have a cover combat of just the 10 or something, right?
Yeah, right.
Which will be awesome, by the way.
Yep.
Can't wait till that happens.
Yep.
Next, Patrick. Karen, Patrick, go ahead.
I was not going to keep.
Karen's got 2 ready to go. Is what's happening with Karen putting that up. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't really take good notes today, so I'll just recap. A lot of Star Wars celebrating going on, and even again a little bit of Indiana Jones mixed in with your Star Wars there.
Check out Future Man has now been endorsed by 3 of 4 XcellarComics hosts.
Yeah. Yep.
Karen, what was one of yours now? Put it up now. Karen says the latest episode of The Mandalorian was 39 minutes long. Okay, thanks for the info, Karen.
And I think the review was 49 minutes long.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you got?
Collecting action figures will deplete your retirement savings. So you can either collect action figures or you can retire comfortably. You can't do them both.
Right?
Boy, I'm really failing this week. Let's just say I'm glad to see the Daredevil love in pick 3 because it's a really good series and some really good covers are coming out of that series.
Nice. I've said it once. I'll say it again. I love lore. And if you want some good lore, tune into my reviews of Yoda.
Okay.
Karen? No? Collectibles on the Horizon was missed. Yep.
Thanks, Karen.
Mike, you got anything else?
I didn't have anything, but I'll kind of piggyback on what Patrick said about Daredevil. I think I may have said this in an episode prior, but I think this run is moving itself up to be, I don't know if it'll ever be on par with the Frank Miller books, if anything will ever challenge those, but I think it's moving up to be very close to that from what I've heard. I haven't read it, just the way Patrick talked about it, and visually the artwork and stuff, that's what I'm gathering. So mark my word, this is going to be Daredevil run that is going to be looked for years later.
That is a bold statement from someone who hasn't read any yet.
It is. I read the first issue a long time ago.
Oh.
You know what though? To piggyback that, I was not a big fan when it first started. You know, it took me a few issues because I felt like some of the new characters they were introducing were sort of cliched characters, and I was like, "What?" Yeah, I wasn't totally on board until probably like issue 8 or 9. You know, when things started really gelling for me.
All right, Ghost Rider teaches us you can't judge a book by its cover. Right, Mike?
That is true.
All right, Karen, you got another one? I think everybody else is tapped out.
Yep.
Oh, today was the day to wear red, apparently. That's true, too.
Not
totally
planned.
Yeah. Is that an Xcellar shirt, though, Pat?
No, it's
okay.
It's a
Calvin and Hobbes
ripoff.
Oh.
Han and Chewie and the Falcon.
That's awesome. That's funny. I wear red regularly though, so mine are always Xcellar ones, but need to get some new gear. So all right.
Yeah.
So I think that'll do it for the recap.
Right. I had one more.
Mike?
I had one more quick one for you, Kevin.
Okay.
I got 2 words for you.
Okay.
Din Grogu.
I knew you were gonna say that. Forevermore. Although, let me ask you that, Pat. What do you think sounds better, Din Grogu or Grogu Jaren?
I don't know.
I think Grogu Jaren would have been better. When Mike said it, I was like, actually, that's not bad. Anyway, okay. So moving into reminders, and I'm going to start this before I even say the first one. What's his name, Mike? All right, there you go, Mike. Once for you. David, the movie nerd. Is that it?
That's it.
Is it David? Yeah.
Something like that.
Come on, brother. Reach out to us. We got some stuff for you. Anybody who knows David, let David know XcellarComics is looking for him for good reasons. So we got that. So, okay. Please like and comment on this video, as well as subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications. Looking for some comments on this video as far as that Neighbors issue number 2, if that's some kind of homage to something that we're missing, or it's just really, in a way, some way, it's made us all think that. Please subscribe to Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space on Spotify for podcasters or many other podcast providers. And please listen to the edited podcast of this live stream on Spotify that will be posted later today or tomorrow incidentally, we actually are getting some nice listens. Our listens in the last podcast compete with our views from the last live stream, just to let you know.
Mhm.
The live stream still got the edge, but anyway, it's close. Closer than it's ever been, I think. Follow XcellarComics on Facebook, Instagram, and or Twitter, and follow Xcellar_comics on TikTok and whatnot. Watch our shows on the Whatnot app on Wednesday and Thursday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm actually failing. I don't have a show right now to be bookmarked, I don't think. And incidentally, I wanted to mention too, I'm going to be changing that. I talked to you a little bit about Mike already. I was thinking I could do it this week. I just can't pull it off this week. Starting next week, though, I'm going to next week's actually going to be May already. Dadgum. But I need to get more shows in during the week. I'm going to work on us diligently today since the show is ending early today. Work on getting a studio set up that I can just leave up all the time so I can just hop in there, work for an hour and a half, and get out. You know, it's even when I do an hour show, the setup and the takedown for it's like 3 hours, you know. So having a place set up all the time will really help. So I'm working on that. And then check out what we have to offer on eBay at Xcellar_comics and on our website, which we're still working on that, XcellarComics.com. And watch our next live stream on YouTube or Facebook next Sunday. Maybe the viewership will be higher now that people will know it's going to be 9 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time next Sunday. And we're going to do our best to remember to update that every show because we're going to be flip-flopping between some days here for the foreseeable future. We got kids things going on, so we're trying to work around that. So that'll do it. All right. Did you guys have anything else?
Nope.
Just a reminder, the Pittsburgh Maulers game, I think, is on at 1 o'clock today.
Is that on Peacock today, too?
Yeah. That audience. I can't remember if it's Peacock or FS1. It's one of the two.
For all of our Pittsburgh fans, the Maulers, the USFL, and we watched that game last week. Did you check out the game, Pat?
No, I did not.
It was actually a really good game too.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We lost.
Yeah.
It was still a lot of fun, you know.
They play in one location, is that right? Are they like in Jacksonville or something?
They're the Maulers' home field right now. I think it's in Canton, Ohio.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Next, I think all the teams have. I think they share like 4 different stadiums, and they're just bouncing around to those 4. I think and next year they're going to be in their home stadiums. I think.
Oh, okay.
So. Yep, they're just trying to build it slowly, and I'm trying to support it.
Yeah, it was good stuff so far. Definitely helped who you're watching it with too. You and Mark are fun to watch with too as well. So got to get together with Pat. So all right.
That's it.
All right. So until next time, don't forget, appreciating great art is awesome, and reading a great story is fun. So why not pick up a comic book and do both? Xcellar out.